A damn shame. A damn shame.
And now, pouring one out for the Eagles, Soren Petro.
Right you are, Kay. Right you are. Petro, the program on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you for joining us here on a sunsplash. And it'll be a pretty nice day. A little chilly. Going to be a little warmer tomorrow. And then the cooler temperatures return. But good-looking day today. So hopefully you get a chance to get outside and enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoyed some NFL playoff football. We had it wall-to-wall here on your home of the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll keep that rolling tonight. Texans and Steelers, if you're out and about running around, you got it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We got a little Hawk Talk with Bill Self. And then the wild card game between the Texans and Steelers with the great call from one Kevin Harlan. Mm-hmm. Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner, I believe, will be his wingman, his broadcast partner. They do a fantastic job together. The other half of Kevin's broadcast team when it comes to calling the National Football League, Trent Green will be with us in the 5 o'clock hour, where perhaps he will do we'll watch him run a victory lap. One more victory lap to go. He of the Indiana Hoosiers ass kicking.
Turns out they're the
Friday
wagon.
night against Oregon.
Turns out they're the wagon.
How'd your wagon do, Kyle? How'd that pick go for you?
Wheels fell off.
Well, they got Dylan Raiola today, so it wasn't a total loss.
No, it is a loss.
Yeah.
That's a loss. I'm going to tell you right now, that one, that's a loss. I was with you on Oregon, as was Kurtis.
I think I was 3-2.
Well, you probably were. Smart ass. Let's see. Kyle, nope on Ole Miss for you, Kyle. Nope on Oregon for me, for the three of us. Mm-hmm. Peter Yates, Hoosiers.
Who's your daddy?
Yeah, there you are, sitting by yourself. Is always a good spot to be.
And Pete said, I don't like it, but I'm going to take IU.
Kyle, sitting all by himself with the Chicago Bears.
Hello.
He's a winner on that one. We looked pretty good with the Packers all game till the very end, so there's another loss for me and UK. Pete takes the L on that one as well. San Francisco and Philadelphia. Loss for Kurtis.
Oh, yeah, so 2-3.
Loss for Pete. Win for me and Kyle.
2-3 then.
So Kyle's 2-2 going into this Pats-Chargers game. Kyle took the Pats. He laid the points. Some dumbass took the Chargers. That was me. I'm the dumb. Said dumbass is right here.
I feel good now. I got a winning week.
We're both 2-3.
2-3 for me, 2-3 for Kurtis, so I make up no ground. Kyle, 3-2. And the icon, Peter Yates Enoch, 3-2. That's how we roll. That is how we roll. Doggone it.
That's how we roll.
You know, so...
it's weird not having heard that voice in a little while.
Does that put Pete... Where's that put Pete with you? Pete's now just one game behind you.
Mm-hmm.
I remain 4 back. I'm pretty much out. There's not enough. We're going to have... Well, what do we have this? We're going to have 5 games this week. Mm-hmm. And then we've got 3 games after that. So I almost got to go opposites you on everything.
Yeah. What's more hopeless for you, this or you're standing in our playoff pool?
In our NFL fantasy playoff fantasy league, NFL playoff fantasy league, I just need about 3 70-yard field goals from Fairbairn, and like 3 40s, and I'm right there.
You're right there.
I'm right there. Hey, Kyle, how's Jackson Smith and Jigba doing for you this first round?
Not good. Not doing well.
Kyle and I will be eliminated. We will be the first 2 out. I'm disappointed Drake May threw a touchdown late in that game because I could have had a touchdown-free weekend.
Like if you're going to...
James Cook, allergic to the end zone.
Hey, Kyle, I want to join this league. It'll be great for the show. We're out week 1.
Good news is I already got his money.
True story.
That's a really important part of the equation.
Now, if you're out, though, are you still going to run the draft?
Yeah, I probably
Nobody
will.
else knows how to do that.
I probably will, yeah.
Yes, you brought me here.
Raider could probably do it, but I probably will. Yeah, not pretty.
You want it done right. So.
Not pretty. Yeah, I'm going all in on the Chargers. You know, I think I'll push those Chargers guys. Will be good.
They scored the same amount of touchdowns in the postseason as the Chiefs.
Yeah, that sucked.
Brutal.
Yes, not good. So anyway.
First 4 games, unbelievable. And historic on Saturday. It was the 3rd time, or the 4th time ever, that both teams twice on the same day, two different teams scored the go-ahead touchdown to go from behind to ahead in the final 2 minutes. That had only happened two other times in history. Happened in 2003 and in 1972.
All right, now that you've gone all the way through it, give it to me again where I can follow. Because I have no idea what that was.
This year was the third time in divisional history.
Yes, divisional, but this is wild card.
Goes back to divisional play.
Since we had divisions. Okay, so what year?
1970.
Let's say that, since 70.
Since 1970, this was the third time that two games on the same day had a team that was behind take the lead under 2 minutes to go with a touchdown. Only because
you can have that one. There's about 9 qualifiers. Okay, that's good. It's only 2 times that I've stopped at an exit on the way to Omaha.
No, I don't think so. The trailing team took the lead with a touchdown in the final 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's the third time
touchdowns happen. People score in the last 2 minutes. I mean, that's just more about, to me, the scarcity of playoff games than it is.
But a team going from behind to in front. There have been a number of playoff games since 1970.
All right, Kyle, because I think I'll pass on this one. You? Where are you? Is this a riveting statistic or?
Keep going, Kay.
You like it?
No, you went through all this work. Let's see it realized.
Well, no, that's it.
Oh, that was it?
That's it. Twice since 1970, teams have scored a touchdown to take the lead in
the final 2 minutes of the game.
In the final 2 minutes of a playoff game of any kind?
Game, to go from behind to ahead in any round.
In any round.
First time it happened twice on the same day.
I mean, what my response to that is I can't believe. First time it's happened on the same day?
Same day.
Well, there's almost.
I thought it's amazing that this happened.
There are 3 games on a day. For years, there were 2 games many times. So
for 60 years, almost.
55
years.
You missed on this one. Wide left.
And then the first game on Sunday.
Wide left. You had better numbers we talked about. This is the one you hatched to come out of the chute with?
And the first game the next day did the exact same thing.
How come you didn't bring this up when we were talking earlier and I could have killed it then?
Because I didn't think you'd kill it. I thought, You
thought this is the one that was a surefire hit.
No, I just thought
the rushing totals, not so much.
No, I just foolishly thought you'd say, wow, that's really cool, and we'd move on. Came up snake eyes on that roll.
I do think it's but when I break it down, I just come to they don't play very many games in any one playoff games in any one day.
That's probably true.
Well, that's the reason for that. Mm-hmm. How many times in the history of playoffs has somebody scored in the last 2 minutes to go from behind to take the lead with a touchdown total?
I have to find the page. It was quite often, but I don't remember the number.
Yeah. But it was a great day. It was a great weekend of playoff football. Yes. If that's your point.
Yes. Say the first game on Sunday did the same thing. They were 3 for 3, and then could have happened at the end of the fourth game, but Philly came up short. If they'd have put a touchdown, it would have been 4 for 4.
We'll get into why there's joy in Philly losing a little bit later on, beyond the obvious of Nick Sirianni. And the Philly fans, did you see it was like, I don't know, it was a TikTok or an Instagram or a reel or a video or whatever, what have you, of the Philly fans throwing things at 49er fans coming in?
Yeah, before the game.
Like, that's honestly, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Like, that's your calling card?
And, I posted something along those lines, and I said, how are the Chiefs like the villain of football?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. They win a lot, but when you see that, I mean, that and the antics of their stupid coach, and yet somehow the Eagles just escape scrutiny, and everyone hates Mahomes and Reed.
They have embraced the booing Santa thing for years, and it's just gone further and further and further. Let me tell you something. Monkey see, monkey don't. Like, do not think that is how you should conduct yourself as a fan.
No.
Right? If you're like, oh, look at that, they're throwing things. Now when somebody comes into Arrowhead, I'm going to throw things at them. Don't.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's just the removal of humanity.
Yeah. And,
Like, that is a human being that just happens to be wearing a different color jersey. That's from a different part of the country.
Yes.
Like, they're,
be an adult.
Their great-grandfather and your great-grandfather came out of a boat in Normandy to stop tyranny together. And you're like, well, but now he's wearing a Niner jersey.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw a half-full beer can at this son of a bitch.
By accident of birth, probably.
You gotta be kidding me.
You're born in a certain spot. Yeah,
Where have we got? Come on.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing.
Absolutely.
Like, I really do.
And I don't think fans here would do that. Each city has some fans.
There are
that
bad fans everywhere,
yeah.
for sure. But
I've seen over the last few years, since there's so many playoff games at Arrowhead, there's a number of videos of fans of the team that comes to KC for the game. I'm going to live post my reactions to being the only fan for the Bills or whatever team. And every single one I've seen is like, you know what? The Chiefs fans were pretty cool.
Yeah.
They root for their team. I rooted for my team. They didn't throw anything back. They all kind of shook my hand. They said, hey, I've yet to see one, regular or postseason, in which the person didn't say, you know what? Chiefs fans are pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I would much rather have somebody go back to their town and be like, KC people are cool, than like we had to duck bottles. Like, I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
And somehow I think they think it's pride in their team, and it isn't something that they feel like they need to apologize for. Instead, it's something I think they think is cool, which is even worse.
To me, it just shows an insecurity in your. I just say you as a human being, not even your fandom. That's beyond that. But I think it's ridiculous.
Revolting.
We did have a great weekend of playoff football, though. One of the things we wanted, because I know Jim wants to talk some Chiefs. Phone lines are open, 913-381-810-810. Chiefs are always a topic here. So are the Royals. We're less than a month away from their spring training being open now. Supporting Kansas City's already in camp. Not with a full team, but they're in camp.
Kind of it.
As they took off yesterday for camp. KU, K-State, Missouri. What a weekend of hoops. Huh?
Wow.
We'll take your phone calls. Those are always a topic here on the program, 913-381-810-810. I want to give you a statistic from the games that have been played. We'll see what happens tonight in this Texans-Steeler game, which, again, you'll hear right here on the home of the NFL, Sports Radio 810 WHB. These are the rushing leaders and their tallies for each of the winning teams, and then I'm going to also give you what they rush for overall as a team. All right? There's a number of different things to glean from here. The Rams. Kyron Williams led the Rams, 13 carries for just 57 yards. Overall, though, the Rams ran the football 29 times because Blake Corum's become more and more a part of their equation. They ran the football 29 times for 116 yards. The Chicago Bears were led by DeAndre Swift, 13 carries for 54 yards. But overall, they ran it 28 times for 93. Monangai also factoring in. He's their number 2 back. They really have a 1-2 punch as well. Buffalo, led by James Cook, 15 carries, only 46 yards. We know Josh Allen also chimes in, but he was 11 for only 33, did rush for 2 touchdowns. But overall, they ran it 26 times for 79 yards. The San Francisco 49ers were led by Christian McCaffrey, 15 for 48, but 10 more rushes collectively as a team for their overall total to be 25 rushes for 75 yards. The New England Patriots were led by Drake May. He had 10 carries for 66 yards. Overall, though, Stevenson chipped in with 10 more carries. Overall, they had 29 rushes for 146. They were by far the best rushing team. So the Patriots and Rams, the two teams that won to go over the rushing total. I think this is significant for a couple of reasons. If you're Andy Reid and his offensive brain trust, number one is the fact that these teams kept running the ball. First of all, 3 of the 5 weren't really that effective, right? Overall, 28 for 93, well under 4 a carry. 26 for 79 out of the Bills. That's terrible.
That's right at 3.
Exactly 3 a carry. The Niners were exactly 3 a carry. 25 for 75. But you know what? They didn't run it 14 times, 16 times, 18. They kept running the football. The idea, no one here will tell you that it's better to, run than throw. Throwing is more efficient. But you have to do things to make the throwing efficient. Like, one, get a quarterback. Okay, there are things that we talk about all the time. Identifying, finding a quarterback. We do it all, we used to do it all the time when it came to the Chiefs every draft was like, okay, what are the quarterbacks? Could this be the year they're finally going to take a quarterback high? You got to get a quarterback, right? And, you know, you got to block. You got to have a good scheme. But the idea of running the football is not to go out and get gobs of yards running the football. It's to make the defense play the run so that your pass game can be more efficient, right? That's what it's all about. And I just think when you see those numbers, right, they jump off the screen. And we've said it for years here. You watch, like we usually do it to run down the big running backs that everyone's getting excited about. It's like, oh, it's great. Yeah, they're a great rushing team. But when it gets to the playoffs, I'm going to tell you what the team running the ball is. The winning team is going to be like 26 for, I usually exaggerate, go 26 for 52, 24 for 70, right? They're going to have quantity because they're going to continue to hand it off because they do not want to get you one-dimensional. But the yardage is going to come down because you're playing only the best defenses, and it's colder and what have you that comes into it. And then what you're going to have to do is routinely convert on third down.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be able to convert 3rd and 6. You're going to have to be able to convert 3rd and 9. You're going to have to do those things. That's what playoff football is. And that's what those teams did. That's what those rushing statistics, other than the Patriots, and to a lesser extent, the Rams, and even those I would celebrate, okay, they're here. They're still playing because they ran the ball.
Yeah.
Right? And took the pressure off their quarterbacks. But you've got to be able to run the ball. We looked up the statistics on the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And if the Chiefs ran the football 28 times, their record this year was 6-1. Their record when running it less than 28 times, 0-10. Again, we go on about, you know, the running back and, you know, everything that goes into, you know, into you know, they need a better back. They need to get this guy. They just need to run it, right, to help Patrick Mahomes when he throws it. That's the purpose of this right here. And 0-10. Now look, I'm going to give you some of the things. If I just wanted to make a point and sell you on it, I just leave that stat. It stands out like a sore thumb. Okay, but you know, I will lessen it a little bit by the standpoint of when you're winning, you run it more. So you've already really won the game. Now you're just trying to end the game and you're trying to burn the clock. And so there is an element here where it's not, that statistic is not as, you know, overwhelming that, boy, you just got to pound the rock as people may want it to be, right? Like, let me give you the games. Like, if you remember, the Colts game, they were coming from behind. They ran it 41 times. That wasn't icing the win.
No.
They needed every yard they were getting. They won that game in overtime. The Raider game, they were in front. They were trying to end the game. They ran it 41 times. The Ravens contested her in the first half, took control towards the end of the first half. They were running because they were winning. They ran it 32 times. The Washington game, they ran it 30 times. That was a game that was contested till almost the end of the third quarter. They were tied 7-7 at the half. Then they got the lead. There's some of it just staying on top. They ran it 29 times in the loss to the Texans. That was a 10-10, 13-10 game. They were right there. And then, a turnover and a touchdown. What did they went for it on fourth, didn't get it.
Yeah.
And then on the short field,
yes,
the Texans scored to make it 20-10. But that was a tightly contested game that they were in. Not scoring a lot of points, but they were in. They beat the Lions. They carried the football 29 times. That game was contested for a half. The secondary of the Lions was the problem. They were decimated by injuries. They still ran it 29 times, and that's what helped to open up the passing game against the Giants. That was largely, it was fairly tight early, but then most of the game, say what, 2.5 quarters? The whole second half?
Yeah, basically.
Really, they were trying to end the game. They carried the football in that one 28 times. Against the Eagles, 26. I mean, the low water mark, 14 at Denver in a 22-19 loss. 15 at Tennessee. Only 15 times with a third-string quarterback. Right? Now, the problem on that one is, again, my point here is you run it even if it's not effective just to make them play the run.
Like I said before.
Yes, I'll say it again. Like I said before, you run it just to make them play the run. And I think that's what you see from these games. what you should see from these box scores and when you watch the games. And maybe, we're going to do our kind of winners and losers. What'd you call them?
Game balls and goofballs.
Old school overnight sports talk radio.
Yes. Time for game balls and goofballs.
Kyle Shanahan got a game ball.
Yep.
And when you look at it, there was a great, I think it was one of the Baldingers put out a GIF and a breakdown that I retweeted, basically showing the action that's going on in the backfield of a fake jet sweep, Purdy faking to the jet sweep, faking the pitch to McCaffrey, and what that does to the linebackers and freezing them, and then throwing to a receiver who's just got to beat a guy on the slant one-on-one, but there's nobody dropping into coverage because they are buying run twice. They take a wrong step right, then they take a wrong step back left, and then he's got the ball. They have no time to backpedal. The receiver's open, and he gets an easy touchdown. That's Kyle Shanahan using the run, the threat of the run, to scheme his receiver open. And like that to me is where the Chiefs have gotten away with all the RPOs being such a big part of their running game is nobody bites on that. We're sitting here, even if you hand off. Now, if they had a better running back, that people would bite more. That is part of it. I grant you. I'm not saying the running backs are not an issue. They are. They need to upgrade at running back. But there's no moving of anybody. You don't get anybody getting out of the way for Patrick Mahomes to get some easy passing lanes when you don't seriously threaten them with a running attack. And I think that, to me, is what we saw. We've seen it all this year. We've harped on it all this year. It was underscored. Big, thick, underline, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. They have to be more effective and more committed to a run game and a power run game that requires defenders to come up, requires gang tackling, not just like everybody to stay home and then rally to the football because the running back's starting 3 seconds after the snap of the ball. He's still standing still before he even begins to run, and you can rally to the ball after that. A real running game where you got to get a head of steam to meet a running back that is coming at you with a head of steam. That to me, was underscored by every team that won in this round of the playoffs.
I looking here in the Patrick Mahomes era, not counting his first at the end of the 17 season, 25 rushing attempts or fewer. Chiefs are 50 and 37. Not bad, but they're a pretty good team. 26 or more, 63 and 4.
Yeah, and again, I will say that is part of that is they threw to get a lead, and then they ran to ice the game. There is an element, but
4.
But it does speak to, like, the pendulum has gone too far the other way towards, yes, analytically, your yards per attempt, your yards per play are better when you throw the ball, but you can't do it on every down. And when you don't do it, you need to be effective there, at least threaten effectively there, what you do on the run. I'd like to talk to, maybe I'll call Eric now that the Panthers are out and get his thoughts, because one of the things he talked about, I remember going back to like 17, 18 when we would talk with Eric Eager every week, and he talked about that the play action was effective whether you'd run the ball or not. Yeah. Right? Well, I think I'd like to know the difference between play action as a show it in an RPO versus a play action of a running back running downhill.
Yeah. To me, that's the only true play action.
I agree.
In my way.
And I think most analytics breakdowns don't call an RPO that you show the ball and yank it out as a play action. Play action is quarterback, one hand on the ball, back to the line of scrimmage, looking like the handoff, then he pulls it out at the last second. 49ers do it as well as anybody. And the 49ers were decimated by injuries and still putting up offensive numbers. 913-3-810-810. Got a couple of folks on the line, got a couple of lines open. 913-3-810-810. Starting with some NFL playoff football. As we said, Chiefs, Sporting, Royals, K-State, KUMU, always a topic here in the program. We want to get to the local schools. Disappointing weekend on the hardwood as well. You're listening to the program.
The program with Soren Petro
has spoken to a woman he didn't work with in the last decade.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen up. Are you like me? Like, oh, hey, Valentine's Day is way off. I got plenty of time. Well, listen, that clock starts ticking. You need to make sure you hit a home run with your Valentine's gift, and Jocelyn's Jewelry can make sure you do it. Jocelyn's Jewelry's been in business for almost 50 years. They're your go-to for exquisite jewelry with the most exceptional service. First of all, you're treated like family the moment that you walk in the door. You'll see the warm smile, the genuine appreciation. They are genuinely happy to see you when you come to Jocelyn's Jewelry. Then you start talking to them, and you find out there are no experts in this city that know jewelry better than the staff at Jocelyn's Jewelry. Some of Gary's staff has been with him for more than 30 years. They're true jewelers. They do everything, including repairs. They've done tens of thousands of repairs. Many of them they can do right while you wait. Maybe you need an appraisal for insurance on something. They do that as well. Jocelyn's Jewelry is a full-service jewelry store with the best selection. Look, when it comes to that holiday, when it comes to that perfect gift that you need this time of year for that Valentine's Day holiday, you'll want to go to Jocelyn's Jewelry, whether it's tennis bracelets, pearls, how about stackable necklaces, diamond stud earrings, maybe it's, those birthstone pieces. You want to get her stone or maybe the kid's stones. They've got hundreds to choose from in each birthstone. They've got a great selection. And if Valentine's Day is when you're going to pop that question, so, they've got almost 1,000 engagement rings to choose from. That's right. Nobody has a better selection. Beautiful, unique styles. Guys, for you too as well. If you don't want just a simple band, you want a little pizzazz. That's one of the things I did was like a diamond cut on the ring. They've got great selection for you guys as well. So don't wait. Get to the southeast corner of 95th and Antioch. Valentine's Day is around the corner. Make sure you stop in and see Jocelyn's Jewelry. The gold standard in fine jewelry is right there at the southeast corner of 95th and Antioch. You can find them online at jocelynsjewelry.com.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Doing Dry January? We're the perfect companion. All month long, Greenlight's got killer deals on flour, gummies, and vaporizers at all 5 KC locations. State Line, Bannister, Independence, Harrisonville, and Ward Parkway. The best cannabis deals always at greenlightdispensary.com. Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance.
I know this is NFL Films, but it also, when it gets started, sounds like it could very very easily be from the old Adam West Batman
Yes.
TV show
There's
as well.
definitely a feeling.
Look at there's like a spat, boom,
Pow. Yeah.
pow. You know,
Wow.
you've actually seen that
Especially-
show, Kyle?
Not the Adam West one, no.
Well, but you knew the pow.
But
and
I
the-
know. Yeah, I know about it.
Okay.
Especially, if we'll give us just a second here. This part here, push it a little bit. Pow, bing, bang, boom. That's definitely Batman.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
I mean, but
I never noticed that
but
before,
it should be pointed out, this was probably made
Yes.
around the same time that
Yep.
was on.
Yep.
When NFL Films did these.
Yeah,
original
most of the
songs.
ones that were off that CD that came out in 1998 were probably done in the late 60s, early 70s.
No. It was a different time.
Which those are the best ones. All the newer ones are like. And sometimes I can hear, this is what a nerd I am. I'll hear a song and I'll know what Super Bowl highlight film it came from. That's
Yeah.
kind of messed up, but it just stuck in my head, man.
The 30-minute NFL Films Super Bowl shows.
It's the greatest.
There's nothing worse than like late at night I'll be working. I'm a late night person, and you're like, oh, they're running those. Here's the next 8 hours.
The night before the Super Bowl.
16 Super Bowls,
Yep.
30 minutes at a time, right
Yep.
here.
And until they got way up in the numbers, like in the 80s and 90s, night before the Super Bowl, ESPN would just run them in succession.
Yeah.
And I'd stick in a tape and record them all, you know. It's just the things you did.
Yeah.
I probably know 2/3 of the script of those things. I've seen them so damn many times.
913-3810810 if you too would like to lead the league in dates. Do what Curtis does.
Yes.
Record NFL Films videos.
John Facenda and Sam Spence.
Yeah, John
They're a
Facenda.
Hell of a pair.
No one has started more conversations at a bar than John Facenda. Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Want to hear my John Facenda impression?
No, I just talked to him in that voice, and they go, wow, cool.
I'll tell you what.
Let's see.
That'll get a gal thinking about dialing the folks to let them know that she's found the one.
Hello, beautiful. May I buy you a drink?
913.
You sound like John Facenda.
Yeah,
of course.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Get the hell away from me.
How about a tang?
I've just been shut down. It is unfortunate. Dating is a rough game and often a cruel one. There was only the painful face of failure.
I wish you'd do more of that.
That should be fun. John Facenda getting shut down at a bar in Philly.
How about you? No? Okay. 913-3810810. Let's go to the phones. Jim's waiting patiently. You're in the program, Jim. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Soren. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
Hey, I was curious. I wanted to see how you guys rooted for these NFL games. I always kind of look at what betters the Chiefs. I was happy to see the Eagles lose because I didn't want them to be any kind of dynasty. I was happy to see the Chargers lose because they're in the division, but I'm struggling a little bit with the Broncos and the Bills. Nobody wants to root for the Broncos if you're a Chiefs fan, but I also really kind of don't want to see Josh Allen win a Super Bowl because then everybody's going to think he's the best quarterback. So I'm really struggling with who I want to root for in that game. Do you have any tips?
We will have tips on. Yes, I have coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. We will tell you exactly who you should be rooting for in this and all the reasons why. What are you in our show meeting now?
We looked at each other like, really?
For crying out, like, really? This question's coming up now. This is on our list for coming up after the drill in the 4 o'clock hour.
You're a smart fan.
But let's take the game you've got. You just said you're trying to figure out Broncos and Bills. It is difficult because the Broncos have 3 championships. With another championship, they would equal, or 3 Super Bowl wins. So they would equal the Chiefs with 4 Super Bowl wins. We don't want that. Yeah. I'm with you. Josh Allen's kind of riding a wave right now. Do we want Josh Allen getting up there and being a Super Bowl champ? In some ways, I'll say yes, because if Josh Allen wins a championship now when Patrick Mahomes can't, or Patrick Mahomes in there, of course we'd want no part of it, but Patrick Mahomes can. But in a way, if Josh Allen gets at least one, I've said all along what we hope is, what's happening here is Patrick Mahomes will play the role of Tom Brady and Josh Allen will play the role of Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's victories over Ben Roethlisberger are made better, in my opinion, because Ben Roethlisberger did win 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
Right? So if your guy's already out, in some ways, the 13-second game, to me, becomes even more of a jewel in the crown of Patrick Mahomes if Josh Allen can go win a championship.
This is ideal.
Also, the Bills, in some ways, I don't want the Bills to go to it's another conference championship, which is not as big a deal as Super Bowl championships or overall NFL titles. If you talk about Bears and Packers and teams that have been around predating the Super Bowl, but do we really want somebody else? I mean, I kind of like that there's a group of teams that have never won it. Like at some point, all of them will have won it. Then it's just going to be on your quantity. Right now, I like that the Texans and the Jags and the Bengals and the Lions and the Browns and the Bills and that these teams and the Chargers have never won it, right? So at the end of the day, I am rooting for the Bills because I am more so like the idea of the Chiefs having, number one, they're tied for fifth. There are only 4 teams that have won more Super Bowls than the Chiefs, 6 each by the Patriots and Steelers, and 5 each by the Cowboys and Niners, which we'll get to some of them later. But, in a way, I like that the Chiefs have won the most championships in the AFC West, so I think getting rid of the Broncos. Plus, I think it'd be nice to see the Broncos tank as a 1 seed in that round, the way they took out the Chiefs.
Because their fans have talked some smack about how they're the king of the division. Now, I'd love to see them bite it in the first round.
I have landed on I will be for the Bills in that game, Jim.
Okay. Well, I kind of hope that I'd like to see, I think, Josh Allen have a Herbert type of playoff game like he had, and maybe he wins doing that. That may be best case scenario.
I'm not anti.
I freaking love Josh Allen.
I'm not anti Josh Allen. I'm not anti Herbert, but I'm definitely not pro Herbert. Herbert is a wet sock. Right, like when I see him in interviews, like that little stunt that he pulled on the Sunday or Monday night game, where the sideline reporter was there, clearly, and it's standard procedure for the winning quarterback to talk after the game, and he walks around acting like he doesn't know she's there and doesn't know she wants to talk to him, and she goes, "Hey, a couple of words real quick." Josh is like, "I'm going to go celebrate with my teammates," or Justin Herbert. Justin, a couple of words. I'm going to go celebrate with my teammates. To which I like, if I were the cameraman or the producer, I'd have been like, "You know how much we're paying for these games? Turn around, snot nose."
Yeah, you don't
like. Herbert irritates me. Josh Allen seems to be a stand-up guy. Yeah. He's tough as nails. He's had a lot of adversity. He's come up short so many times, and he still seems to carry himself the right way. I can get behind rooting for Josh Allen. I really can.
Okay. Well, he flops too.
Well, a lot of guys
He
do.
flops? Is that what you said?
A lot of guys
yes,
do.
absolutely.
Oh, they all do.
Mahomes flops every once in a
They
while.
all do. So does Mahomes. How many times do you see? You know how irritating it is for the rest of the league to see Mahomes laying on his back, throwing his hand up, looking back at the ref, like, "You gonna call that? You gonna call that?" I mean, come on. Flopping is.
I hate that too.
It's not my favorite, but you got to try to get the call. I mean, I get it, Jim. I appreciate it, and plus for me, my buddy Sal Capaccio's the sideline guy for the Buffalo Bills, a guy I went to college with. I'd like to see Sal get to enjoy what we've been able to enjoy here. At least just go to the Super Bowl and be on the side. As many days as that guy's frozen his ass off in Buffalo on the sidelines for that team, I'd like to see him go, get to enjoy being on the sidelines for a Super Bowl and maybe win. I really have no problem rooting for Josh Allen. Buffalo's a small market. I always feel kinship to the small markets. Denver can bite ass. Their fans. I'm with Kurtis. Their fans are kind of annoying. And it's been fun putting them in their place. I don't need to see the Broncos getting anything.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen countless videos of Allen, just unscripted meetings with fans, kids. He's fantastic, and man, he was a freaking warrior yesterday for the Bills. The Jaguars just beat him all day long, and at the end, he just went blanket. I'm taking over, and those last 2 runs are just like I love that dude. I'm. No problems with him winning a title.
913-810-810. Let's go to John. You're in the program, John. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, guys. Thank you for taking my phone call. I appreciate it. I appreciate your guys' commentary on the 49ers and the Eagles fans. I thought that was just horrible over the weekend. And it actually kind of reminded me of something just a couple of weeks ago. I was on a road trip in the Northeast and drove through Philly, New York, Boston, those areas, and had a chance to listen to some kind of Northeast, big market, big city talk radio. And guys, I'm not gonna lie, it was nasty stuff. I mean, I know you guys offer critiques and observations and criticisms. I think you guys do it with a lot of professionalism and a lot of class. You guys are never mean about it by any means. And just listening to this talk radio show, guys, I think I know why their fans act the way they do. when they listen to these talk show hosts. I mean, they just the nastiness and just the personal venom they have towards other teams and other athletes. It's just bad stuff. It's a bad look. And I guess I'm just kind of wondering for you guys, I mean, again, you have your observations, you make your points. I've listened to you guys in the morning show for a long time. I've never heard any of you guys ever get personal or get nasty about another athlete. So I commend you guys for that, and just want to know how you guys are able to stay above the fray. And I appreciate the great show you guys have.
Okay, thank you very much. Those are very
nice.
kind words, John, and I appreciate it. And I think, unfortunately, in this business, I think, number one, we all genuinely like sports, right? We like finding out what makes it go, like why is the offense working or not working, and taking the time to try to build relationships with people who can give you those answers, right? Knowing people within the organizations where you can get, there's some great, and I'll give credit to both of our, all three of our professional teams. The colleges are a little further away and tougher to deal with. Kansas is obviously the closest, and we carry Kansas, so I can throw Kansas in here. It's tough for me to get to K-State and Columbia. Nothing against them. They might be fantastic for the media there, but I don't get as much from them. But there's I think if you take the time to ask the questions, and you ask good questions, and then you use the information the right way, you can build a relationship with the organizations. That's like when people are like, "Who's going to hold Andy Reid's feet to the fire?" Like in what way? Yes. Like what are you wanting me to do? Like if you don't watch those Dr. Pepper ads where they go, "It's the hot seat," and they bring out a seat with a flame on it, and you're going to sit on it. Yeah. That's literally how stupid it is about I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. Why did you lose, Andy?
Ask the tough questions.
Yeah, what do you want me to? I mean, do we want to get information from him? And listen, and Andy Reid is far too guarded. But I alone am not going to solve that riddle. That's within him.
The idea that if we ask tougher questions, they'll stop doing. They'll run the good plays.
They'll play better.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you would tell Andy Reid to stop running the bad plays, he'll run the good plays.
Well, Soren asked a great question the other day.
I mean,
I didn't realize it was upsetting people. I'll start running the good plays.
Lebo made this great point in the presser.
It's just weird.
but I'm going to tell you the other thing is, so I think there's one, this is a job, I always remember Mark Mangino was the one I heard it from. It's been said many times, but sitting in Mark Mangino's office and having him go, recruiting's like shaving. You miss it once. Mm-hmm. Nobody really knows but yourself. You miss it twice, your wife knows. You miss it 3 times, everybody knows. It's kind of like Tim's story about Lou Holtz talking about missing practice.
Yeah.
You can put those analogies in a lot of places. But Mark Mangino's point was, like, if you don't make your recruiting calls today, like, it's okay. Like, it's not going to be the end of the world, but don't do it 2 days. 2 days in a row, it's a big problem. 3, like, if you are consistently missing your recruiting calls, it's not going to work. So you have to be diligent and set that time aside, and you're going to make your calls regardless. Even if you're like, I checked in with that kid 2 days ago. If he's the next one on your list to call, you make the call. It's like you have to be diligent about it. And, it's like, to me, that's a little bit of our job. Like, I'm not going to tell you every single day. We've had a 1-hour show meeting where we've addressed all the topics. We've got a sweet outline of everything we're going to go through. All the guests are lined up. Every interview's prepped. I mean, everybody has life. Your kid has to be brought home from school, and you're the one who's got to go do it. But consistently, we try very hard to be prepared when we hit the airwaves at 2 o'clock. It starts at 6 p.m. the day before, right? And you pay attention to what's going on.
Sometimes before that.
But this is a job that you can come in and just BS it. And I think what you're hearing is, like, when you do it time and time again, you are just BS. But if you put the time in, it shows. And sometimes you put the time in and it doesn't reflect on that next show. Like, we put the time in, and then we're scrolling back on our little digital topic sheet like, wait a minute, 8 days ago we were ready to do that, and it went by the wayside. We didn't get to it. We can bring that now. Here are the numbers we had prepped that we never got to, but they're direct to, like, either your call or to what's going on. Well, here it is. You put that time in, and I just think a lot of people, number one, this industry, we're very fortunate here at Sports Radio 810. I'll tell you, one of the things is, like, this is what I do. I'm not the sideline guy for the Knicks, and then I wing this for a couple hours in the morning. Mm-hmm. Okay? Some of the, there are some people, I'm not going to name where they work or whatnot, but, their job is to be an anchor on the news, and they throw this together for 2 hours. We have that. It's called Mick Schaefer, but he doesn't lead the show. Jason Anderson's a full-time employee that does this. So we get the joy of what Mick can bring in, because Mick's great. I love when Mick's in. My point is, but if you ask Mick to be the anchor every single night and come in and lead a 2-hour show, you're going to get a guy who mails in 4.5 of the 5 days. He can't do it. He can't. I mean, he's the sports director down there. And what you get in a lot of these things are everybody, because this industry, all industries have become so cheap that you get a lot of people that aren't full-time employees. Sports Radio 810 WHB pays us to be talk show hosts. And then, to me, it's our job to reciprocate and put in a full week's work every week, a full day's work every day into this job. And I think, some of it's just lazy-ass people. Some of it's companies that won't pay someone to make it a full-time job, so they make a pretty good check to just literally think about it as they're walking into the studio and quit thinking about it as they leave. And so you get in, and it's just like whatever's on the headline on the crawl or whatever's on the headline of the local newspaper's website, and you talk about that, and how do you separate yourself? Well, it just becomes like I talk about fans, one-upsmanship. That guy's not that good. Not that good. He's pretty bad. Pretty bad. He's terrible. Terrible. He sucks. Sucks. He's the worst I've ever seen. Worst you've ever seen. He's the worst there ever was. Worst there ever was. That guy ought to be shot. That's what you get. You get like, how do I separate myself from others? Well, I'm not going to actually either don't have or won't put the time into finding things that nobody else has. One of the best compliments I got was somebody from an organization, worked at an organization, and said, I listen to you every day. I said, oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. They said, you're the only show that I can tune in, and I know I'm not going to get what I already read in the newspaper or saw on the TV.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. That, I'd never heard it quantified that way, but it's because we're looking for something new. We're looking for what somebody else hasn't already told you. But I will give credit to our ownership and our boss that we're also given the time to do it. Yeah. Now, trust me, would I like to have 9 full-time people, 15, whatever Pat McAfee's got, and whatever some of those national shows have got? Yeah, it'd be great. Let me tell you some of the crap we could give you if it were more than just the 3 of us, right? Because we also have a business angle of making sure, all the sponsorships and different things, and that pulls away from some of the research time and the interview time and the go talk to people time. I mean, listen, this is a full-time job for all of us. I'm going to tell you, especially right now when we come through football season, if you don't hear us on Sunday mornings doing the pregame show, that's 6 days a week. And that show, Kurtis is in here Wednesday or Thursday night till like 10 p.m. or later, and grinding and putting that show together. There's usually a second night that he's got to come in and finish some things up from later in the week. But it's a full-time job. We're paid like it's a full-time job.
Yep.
And so I appreciate you saying that. There are a lot of things, like everything in life, there are a lot of things that go into it as to why it is what it is. But I do think that there is a mentality on the East, and I know it because I know it from going to school and my idiot friends that are Giant fans or Jet fans, and part of what they do is just how to say sucks worse.
Yes.
Well, the Jets suck. No, they really suck. No, they suck. They're the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked. Like that Homer Simpson bit. Well, why? What are they doing? Well, their draft sucks. Well, where? Well, in what ways? What are they missing on? What didn't they take? Who should they have taken? What did the GM tell you was the reason why? Well, I never talked to the GM. Well, that's a problem.
Yes. And that's frequent. It's also, it's the final point for me, it's also there is so much value in the clickbait thing. I mean, how many times do you hear someone who says something because they, you'll see stuff, that's, you have to top somebody else because if you don't, then no one will listen to you. Oh, he said something outrageous. I mean, there's value, unfortunately, in being outrageous. I mean, look at people like Stephen A. Smith. I mean, his rise to fame has been simply by being outrageous. And people go, I can't wait to hear what he said this time.
I don't know anyone who really can't wait.
Clearly somebody does, or the money he's making. But I haven't spoken to anybody who actually.
I'm actually going to tell you, the ratings are not there, so I don't know why the money is.
But the money is there, so I think he thinks it's what everybody wants. But it's not analysis.
Yeah.
Just saying, hey, look at me is not analysis. We try to let you know something that you didn't know before you listened.
913-810-810. We'll take more of your phone calls next here in the program. You're listening to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 9133-810-810. Taking your phone calls here on the program, 9133-810-810. Let's get to Kent. You're in the program. Kent, what's going on, buddy? Kent?
You know, watching these games where they change the rule that allows the lineman to basically push the running back along, it looks more like rugby.
Yeah, it does. And the rule's been there for about 5 years. 6 years, maybe even 10 years. I don't know how long when they lifted that.
It's been a little bit.
Do you know why they made that change?
I think because they weren't legislating, frankly, Kent. Where you couldn't help the runner, people were doing it anyway. The most famous one is Notre Dame and USC, where Reggie Bush pushes Matt Leinart in. Mm-hmm. I know it's a college game and you're talking NFL, but that was technically illegal, but they didn't call it. Nobody wanted to call it anymore. It's kind of like prohibition. Everybody was drinking anyway. Why are we screwing around with this?
Exactly.
They're all pushing anyway, and I think it's kind of gotten away, obviously, with the tush push being the biggest example. I mean, we've talked about it a lot when it comes to the tush push as to how that's changed the dynamics of the game. But I don't know about you. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Josh Allen 10-yard quarterback sneak was one of the most entertaining plays of the weekend. So I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, line up and stop it. Somebody grab his legs or get more people going the other direction. I'd find it entertaining and fun.
And start doing it yourself.
Yes.
I mean, it isn't just your opponent that gets to do it. You can do it too.
I mean, like, part of what you have to do, and this is where Bill Belichick was ahead of everybody for so long, was like, look at the rule book. What are the rules? How can you use them to your advantage?
Yeah, that's what Bill Walsh did.
Mike Vrabel did it. Mike Vrabel burnt, 2 minutes a clock because he realized, wait a minute, they restart the clock after these penalties. I'm going to burn half the clock.
Yep.
So, yeah. 9133-810-810. Let's go to Jerry. You're on the program. Jerry, what's going on, buddy?
Hello. Just enjoying the day. It was an awesome weekend for football. I thought the Buffalo game was really anticlimactic. I'm glad Josh Allen made it, but that was a letdown and a half. I want Pittsburgh, believe it or not. I used to root for them in the 70s. I want them to win their game tonight. And I want them to go all the way to the Super Bowl. I want them to win. And then I want Mike Tomlin to tell the fans of Pittsburgh deuces, and I'd like him to go to Baltimore. Not that I'm going to be a fan of his, but I'd like to see that drama. And I heard something on YouTube that Jim Harbaugh might be thinking about Pittsburgh. Wouldn't that be a hoot? And I'll let you guys go.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. That would be pretty entertaining if those two just swap positions. Everybody needs a new voice. Right, but basically just Mike Tomlin's the best coach we can hire out there, so we're going to go get Mike Tomlin.
Yep.
I don't think it'll happen.
That'd be one reason to root for them because I love Tomlin.
I like both Tomlin and John Harbaugh, so wherever they go, I'll be impressed. Cameron, you got about 50 seconds. Wrap us up this hour.
I was just going to say, what do you guys think of the potential of trading Trent McDuffie for an edge rusher like, say, disgruntled and pissed off Max Crosby, who has done everything right for the Raiders and has been on the field as much as possible, and he would actually be an upgrade over anyone we have?
Yeah, I'd have to look at, and Cameron, thank you for the call. I don't think Max Crosby is going to be out there because the Raiders are this weird organization. He's got like business deals with Tom Brady and Jim Gray, which is apparently what keeps you in a Raiders uniform. But your idea is an interesting one, but they're $35 million over the cap. I like the idea of trading Trent McDuffie for draft picks and getting lots of them and drafting cheaper players. Max Crosby brings a huge number in, and you're not really getting anywhere by bringing in his big number when you're already under the cap.
All right, twice since 1970, a number one seed was an underdog in the divisional playoffs. Name either team. Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
player, coach, pain in the ass. He's done it all on the gridiron from South Bend to Arrowhead. From football on the radio, back to football, then more radio, then a little more football, and now radio again. It's Chiefs Hall of Famer Tim Grunhard on the program.
Brought to you by The Plumbing Pro. When you really need a plumber, the one to know is The Plumbing Pro. Visit them online at theplumbingpro.com.
Hour number 2 of the program begins right now. Tim Grunhard joins us here in the program. Football insider, life coach, all-around swell guy, Chiefs Hall of Fame center. Tim, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. We almost got to the second verse of the fight song there. Yeah, took a little bit of time to enjoy the fight song on a beautiful sunny day here in Kansas City on a Monday. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well. No complaints.
That's different than, that's not 3 cheers for old Notre Dame. What's that called? That's like
that's cheer for old Notre Dame. That's the fight song.
I heard someone
Notre
say
Dame, Our Mother is the kind of the school song. No, that's the cheer for old Notre Dame.
I heard someone say, it's been a while, that there are really only 2 fight songs, Notre Dame and Michigan, and everyone else has just built theirs off of that. I don't think it's true, but it's poetic at least.
Wisconsin has a good one that I think a lot of people know.
Jump around. Jump around. Jump up and get down. That one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That's what it is now. So, yeah, it was tough watching basketball this weekend. I finally got into basketball now that football
Wait a minute.
over.
You sit down. Yeah. I just called you our NFL insider, Chiefs Hall of Famer, and you go, it was tough watching basketball
I was
this weekend.
listening to you guys as I was pulling up, and you guys said, hey, it's a rough weekend for our college basketball on the hard court. And
You're not wrong.
I was just reiterating, and you guys aren't wrong about talking about how hard you work. People don't realize how many hours you guys put in to make this show great. A lot of preparation, a lot of perspiration, and a lot of probably frustration.
Mm-hmm.
Just when it comes to Kyle, but otherwise,
there's some condom. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys do a great job, and it's great to be on with you guys. But yeah, it was just just a little light topic before we get into the meat. It's a little appetizer.
Basketball, the all of them losing. That's light.
Yeah, it's just a little.
K-State 0-3.
KU losing to West Virginia.
KU 1-2, and a incredible comeback away from being 0-3 in the league.
Yeah. Missouri struggling a little bit.
I mean, they had 1-2. The Missouri one is the most tolerable loss of the bunch.
Yeah.
Because what did you think they were going to do? Go undefeated?
Florida?
No, they beat Florida and won at Kentucky, and they lost
to Ole Miss.
Oh, that's right.
They were a 1.5 favorite. Ole Miss is all right.
Yeah.
I mean, Ole Miss is kind of like Mizzou.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Mizzou's better. They're favored at their place, right? Yeah. And so
62 all late, and that's they stumbled down the stretch, and Ole Miss won. They can't hit free throws to save their life, but that game happens to every team multiple times.
I think that Bill Self's comments in the press conference really could kind of be carried into the NFL right now, and there's just not a lot of margin for error anymore. In college basketball, especially in the Big 12.
Well,
there's not a lot of margin for error in the NFL either. You make a couple mistakes, your playmakers don't make plays, you're going to lose.
Well, I was going to save this for when Trent comes on in the 5, because obviously his Indiana Hoosiers.
Because you say, no, I thought you saved the good stuff for him.
No, I want to talk to a guy who went to a good football school.
That team is in the playoffs.
Yeah, perennial playoff appearance, that kind of thing.
Hey, I'm rooting for Indiana, but let's not get carried away here.
Yeah, but I
can't
think
root for Miami.
When you see Indiana as the dominant force headed into the national championship game, and we'll see what happens in that game, and you see Kansas struggling on the hardwoods, and you see Kentucky struggling on the hardwoods, and then you see Kentucky football, though, is grabbing big recruit after big recruit. Like, I don't know who injected money. Like what is going on? It's like the NIL has completely turned all the sports upside down. It definitely has leveled the playing field. When it's not, when it becomes capitalism, your history doesn't matter anymore.
Yep, absolutely.
When it's socialism and everybody gets the same thing, you're going to get a scholarship wherever you go. Well, then it's like, okay, so that's all the same, but this one's put more guys in the league. So I'm going to go to that one.
Mm-hmm.
But now
these guys are taking a pay cut when they go to the league.
The interesting thing to me is that we kind of knew that was going to happen.
Some of them really are.
Absolutely. I'm not. People are like, they used to be the joke.
That's why guys are going back. That's why the third and fourth rounds, they're like, we don't have the guys we used to have.
And then the NBA and college basketball, the kid from Baylor, right? Well, wasn't he on a roster somewhere? And he said, I'll go play. And
he went to the G League.
G League or B League or whatever the hell it is, yeah. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think there was a feeling that when that happened, and we thought that was going to help, like the SEC would get more dominant. What it really has, the dominant programs would have all the money, and they would be even more dominant. But that money it's flattened them out.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Well, I think also the idea of Georgia and Alabama and all those teams would have all kinds of money, and they'd be even better.
I mean, is that why you think that the SEC does not have a representative in the national?
Well, I think one of it's just part of it's just it's a little bit cyclical. But I do think the SEC has lost some talent.
Yeah,
and I think also. SEC, like I said, when it was everybody gets the same thing, a scholarship and eats and shoes and sweatsuits and everything, then it's about, okay, where's my best path to the NFL? Well, the SEC usually leads in draft picks. We'll see if that continues. And then also it's like it's close to home. I mean, there's no doubt the population base of football is the Southeast. The bulk of the town. Then there's it's Texas, Florida to Texas,
right,
and probably below the Mason-Dixon line, and then it's California. Right, that's the lifeblood.
You can squeeze out some guys from Ohio and Pennsylvania and Illinois a little bit, but you're right.
That is draw the line from L.A. to
whatever. And so if you were going to get 10 or 20 grand under the table or nothing, let's say it's above board, and you got to fly into Columbus, Ohio all the time, or you got to fly to, Michigan State or Bloomington, which is a bitch because Bloomington's, you got to go to Indianapolis and then drive like 2 hours, right?
To where?
To Bloomington? How far is Bloomington from
Bloomington's about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you're like, no, I'll just drive the 2 hours over to Mississippi State.
Right.
But now, if you're getting $500,000, that flight don't bother me flying up there.
Yep.
I'll make that. So now when they're getting paid, travel doesn't mean anything anymore. I mean,
so what do you think that the announcers were trying to?
And there's, by the way, and what I was going to get up to is, I'm pretty sure if we lined up the endowments and even the alumni bottom line of the Big Ten versus the SEC, the Big Ten will crush the SEC.
Crush them. Indiana is one of the top alumni groups in the whole country. So what do you think the point was of the announcers during the Indiana game that every other play they were talking about, well, there's no 4 or 5 star guys on this team. There's no 4 or 5 star guys on this team.
There are 4s, but there aren't 5s. There aren't many 4s, and there are no 5s.
Right. What were they trying to get across there? Was it, you don't really need to go and recruit guys anymore because you can take guys out of the portal and
I just think
NIL money will.
I think it's probably the last time we'll hear that from an announcing crew because it's becoming a dated statement.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, 4 and 5s. One of the things I'd like to know is are any of the transfer, so no transfer can be a 4 or 5? Are we talking about 5s? When they were 5s coming out of high school?
It must be out of high school.
Counting, But I also think it speaks to, look, we've talked about this. The top 300. ESPN had the top 300. Mm-hmm. And we went through, out of the top 100, 60 of them don't get drafted. 60 of the top 100 don't get drafted.
Yeah, it's hard.
And then of the 40 that do, they're in all varying rounds. I mean, it's like the ranking systems, they're amazing what those guys do. I don't want to, a lot of people will try to crap on them. There's thousands and thousands of football players, and trying to put them into rankings is an unbelievable test. The Jeremy Crabtrees of the world and guys like that, what they do is incredible. All right. Yes, it's not the most accurate thing, but it's also, you're asking someone to do something that is just so much harder than even just trying to figure out the NFL draft.
It's pretty amazing how accurate they really are.
Yeah, you talk about high school tape and figure out who's who. But now with the transfer portal, you got 2 years of them playing someplace else. You can go like, well, he was a 2-star. I don't care. He's playing like a 4, and we're going to go get him.
Right.
And I think where Cignetti, he can build a team. He values intelligence. They're the smartest team. They still have a limitation on how many hours they can coach him. And when I watch Indiana, they're amazing how they're prepared for everything. His practices must have zero wasted time. You talk about the importance of reps.
Yeah.
They seem to have repped everything they need to rep.
Watching
in
their
a
defense
game.
play is it's like artistry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're never in the wrong
Both their
spot.
offensive defense coordinator are the arrows pointing big time up on both of those
And
guys.
we'll see what happens when he loses, though. That's
Yeah.
one of the things. Like, they need to strike now.
Absolutely.
And then Cignetti needs to shift gears and become a Nick Saban and go get quality people. Because, like, to me, the difference between Saban and Dabo Swinney is Dabo Swinney just wants to promote his underlings, and Nick Saban was willing to come out of his comfort zone and hire people like Lane Kiffin, who are bright guys but a pain in the ass to keep it going. I mean, Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, had a drinking problem that cost him a job. He's like, okay, I'll bring him in. We'll keep an eye on it.
Offense.
And he, if you can make this team better and you can assimilate to my system and what I do and how I want things done here, then I'll bring you in no matter what. And we'll see if Cignetti can do that, because Dabo Swinney couldn't. When he started losing his assistants, he hasn't been anything close to what he was.
Very mediocre.
And so Cignetti really needs to cash right now.
And getting back to your
because then
parlay
he's going
that
to get
into a
rated.
job where they can get money and coaches will want to go coach for him. if he's
and
got a ring.
getting back to your point, it's so it is very, very difficult to rank high school football players because, I mean, really, you can't start ranking them when they're a senior. And they start ranking these kids when they're like sophomores, juniors, and obviously in their senior year, but mostly sophomores and juniors. They're on the radar. So what it does is, and it's as simple as, hey, some of these kids hit puberty and some of these kids develop a lot faster than other kids. So there are some kids that, that may be a 2 or 3 star. Boy, he's athletic, but he doesn't have the size. Boy, he's fast, but boy, he doesn't have the length. All those little things that they may grow into. So the whole ranking system is an interesting deal because, listen, there's the creme de la creme. Let's face it. There's going to be 100 kids or 150 kids that, you watch the All-American Bowl this weekend. You see those kids. They look like they look like could be NFL kids. I mean, guys. I mean, they're big dudes. But it seems like Indiana and some of those schools have found the idea. Well, listen, yeah, we'll look at what Crabtree and we'll look at some of the logistics of these kids, but let's figure out who can we get that we think is A, going to fit into the system, B, smart enough to learn our system, C, is going to work hard and got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And the Indiana football team the whole team basically has a chip on their shoulder. And they're playing like that, and they're having a lot of success because of it. So,
and they have the money to go get their quarterback.
And they have the money.
So that
to go
wasn't
get
the
their
guy
quarterback.
they had to identify at a young age.
But what happens is, a dirty little secret is that
But
it happens.
do we know, how much did he get? Is he the top dog?
I doubt it. I doubt
out
it.
there?
He was the top paid.
No, he was not the top quarterback.
I remember hearing about him when he went to Indiana. I remember hearing about him after he began succeeding there.
When he went to Indiana, it did not. From Cal, right?
Yeah.
When he went from Cal to Indiana, nobody said boo.
But the dirty.
Then when he started,
they're all set up to win.
Yeah. Then when they started, they were playing well, and he was doing. I mean, I don't think anybody thought he sucked.
No.
But it wasn't just like, can you believe what?
But he
Indiana
wasn't.
got?
Hey, they're picking up a Heisman guy. Yeah.
No. So I don't think he was. He
you're
probably sure
right.
got a big raise
And I'm
this
sure
year. But
even the quarterback, who obviously is now probably the most famous college football player right now in college football this year, because of obviously winning the Heisman and being in the national championship game and doing the things he did, he still had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, even though he came out of Cal and there wasn't a ton of interest in him coming out of Cal. There was interest, but there wasn't a ton.
Well,
but
he lives a mile from Miami, and Miami didn't offer.
Yeah. So guys, I mean, but the dirty little secret is, how do you keep that chip on your shoulder? Now, after this year, let's say Indiana wins, they win the national championship, you come back next year, and some of the messages that the coaches have been using over the last 4 or 5 years, it kind of falls on deaf ears because they've kind of got there, they've made it, they've done it. So the challenge isn't only for Cignetti to go out and keep his coordinators or get young coaches in, is to keep those guys with that kind of mental edge that they're kind of us against the world, because that's what Indiana's living on. They're living on the adrenaline. It's us against the world. We're a chip on our shoulder. Nobody believes in us, and we're Indiana. We've lost more football games than any other Division I football team in the country in the history of our school, and we are now in the national championship game. So can he keep that attitude? Can he keep that? And that rotates into what we're talking about with the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they kept coming up with a chip on their shoulder. Remember, the Chiefs, 50 years they didn't go to a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden they get on this run, and you maybe relax a little bit. The message isn't as clear.
Well, I do think there's an element of like we used to hear about, when a team wins a couple of championships and all of a sudden they kind of fall off, and it's because they were getting all these 5-stars. Yeah, all these kids that thought they were champions because they went there. They didn't understand you got to work and go win your own championship. Mm-hmm. Right? Like that's that. Nick Saban gets that. Mike Krzyzewski gets that. I think Nick Saban even more than maybe Mike Krzyzewski. I mean, like I give you, and you got to love football. Like Gary Parrish was talking about this. You started talking basketball. Like I'm at a point now, and he's making millions, so I don't want to hear like I no longer do I have we're talking about college kids not making any money. No, they're getting paid. Yeah. So Darren Peterson can wear it. Like he's soft. Now, is he mentally soft? I don't know. But he's soft in the sense that he can't play the game.
Slip in some pickle juice or something.
Whatever it is, I don't care anymore. I frankly don't. When you ask out of games at the most critical point,
2.5 minutes left, and you ask out of a game.
I mean, and it might all be physical. And a month from now, 2 years from now, he may be the best player in the NBA and warrior up Jordan S style and carry his team across. Fine, then I'll be like, okay, wow, it was one of the more bizarre injuries I've ever seen. But he's just flat out soft because he's being paid millions. And that's the other thing. Yeah. He's getting paid a lot of money to go out there and perform.
And when he's on, he's as good as anybody. But man, oh man, it's so inconsistent.
But like I'm with you in the sense that Indiana seems to have a bunch of guys that love the game.
Right.
Right? Like, does Zion Williamson love the game? I don't know. He's always watching it. He seems to like sitting front row in his street clothes, watching the Pelicans play. And I feel like Darren Peterson's going down that road. Like, I don't think I question. I don't know, but I question, does he love the game?
Who are they just talking
does Zion
about?
Williamson love the game? Who was the 6'10" guy from LSU that sucked for the Sixers? Still bouncing around. Didn't even go to the tournament. That was his name. Not Ben Gordon.
What is his name? Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. Yeah. How about the kid from Washington that went 1-1?
Markelle Fultz.
Again to the Sixers. Who was it?
Markelle Fultz.
Markelle
Who
Fultz.
were they talking about last week? That was on this subject. That said that, but does he even like the game?
That was Gary Parrish. I think we might have been talking about we were talking about
who. Yeah, you guys. It was a great conversation. Like, I mean, he doesn't seem like he even likes playing. I can't remember who it was.
Mark Mitchell of Missouri.
Yeah.
When I asked him, I'm like, he seems to me he's bigger and thicker, but his game is no different than what I saw him play at Bishop Miege, his sophomore year at Miege.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right before the pandemic. One of the last things I did before the pandemic was go see him play. And now I watch him play. That, by the way, that's how long that was his sophomore year. He still had a couple years of high school. But his game, he's like, well, if you just love basketball, then practicing is fun and skill training is fun.
Yeah.
But if you're just good at it, I'll show up and play when it's game time. But
yeah,
my kid would play sports.
I've known
but she ain't putting 5 seconds in beyond the required practice time.
I've known a couple of great high school players who said, I'm just good at it. I don't really.
Yeah. But her dance team. That's what she does. Yep. She loves
it. Loves it. So
she goes to extra classes.
Yep,
she's good at it because she's got a passion for it and puts the time into it. I mean,
so do you think this is a battle, Indiana and Miami, of a team that, and I'm not saying that Miami doesn't love to play, but it just seems like it's a whole different atmosphere. Is this a team like in Indiana that loves to play, guys with a chip on their shoulder, and then you have the U, who is a bombastic, very athletic, very, very talented football team. So it's a battle of those kind of wills. I mean, which one's going to win?
I think who's going to win is Mario Cristobal is Mac Brown. He's assimilated. He's acquired a lot of talent and puts it on the field.
Yeah.
Signetti has not. I'll bet you player for player, Miami's kids are going to go. I mean, Mendoza's going to go 1-1, but after that, I don't know where the Indiana kids will go. And Miami's right tackle is a top 5 pick. Number 10 is going to be a high pick. The wideout,
Tony.
When he comes out, their running back is going to be a second, third. Running backs don't go that high, but that one running back looks great. The left tackle, 6'9", 340. He's going to play somewhere.
Yeah.
They've got a tremendous list of talent, but Cristobal is no wizard when it comes to game management. We've seen he's awful at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't know how prepared they are, where Indiana's going to come in and not make mistakes.
Right.
I'd love to tell you that this is where talent is going to be the eye-opener again, but my assumption is Miami's going to shoot themselves in the foot. Indiana's going to execute everything perfectly, and Indiana's going to win, and it's not going to be close.
The line keeps moving. It's 8.5 now.
Wow. 8.5?
Yeah, it went from 6.5 to 7.5. Now it's 8.5.
Wonder what they know.
I mean, Miami found a way to lose to what? Louisville and
somebody like North Carolina State. Was it somebody?
Yeah,
like that?
it was somebody.
It wasn't a great loss. That's for sure.
No,
and it was a matter of what? Like they lost 2 games in 3 weeks to inferior opponents.
I'm going to tell you here in 1 second.
Was it Virginia? Somebody like that. Somebody in the ACC. Obviously.
I'm going through my bookmarks, and I should have just Googled it. Miami's losses were to
SMU
and Louisville, right?
Yeah.
And two
yes.
times Louisville, and then they beat Stanford, and then they lost to SMU.
In OT.
Yeah. So they got out to what? 2-0, 4-0, 6-0, 8-0. They fell at Louisville, beat Stanford, 9-1, then lost at SMU.
Yep, that's right.
I mean, their wins, they've got a great win against Notre Dame in the opener, but I always take those with a grain of salt because weird things happen in the opener.
And then they played in the ACC, and nothing looks impressive.
They beat South Florida, who was ranked at the time 49-12, but did not finish anywhere near it, and they won at Pitt 38-7, who was number 22.
Yeah.
So
they've made all their hay in these 3 wins. Over.
Yeah. Because Florida wasn't any good. Florida State was 18 when they played them, but we know they didn't finish anywhere.
That's why people were like, should they be in?
It's a legit question.
A 7, a 2, and a 6.
Florida State finished 5-7. Louisville, SMU finished 9-4 after their bowl game. Louisville finished 9-4, 4-4 in the league, 9-4 overall. So I mean if Miami wins, we're going to be like, this is an uber talented team that finally put it together.
And if Indiana wins,
they're a talented team that is incredibly well coached and had the better quarterback. There's no doubt.
Oregon's going to fill the first and second and third rounds with teams with players.
Yeah.
In April and
that was a tough one for
got
Dan
their
Lanning
doors
to get his
blown
ass
off.
kicked like that one. I mean,
he
looked like he was like, go avenge your loss to Indiana now and go into the
first play of the game.
Yeah,
pick 6.
Yeah,
not always a good way to start.
No, but you thought, wow, and they answer and go down the field.
They went down and scored.
Suddenly 7-7. You go, okay, they had their shot. And then they just kept building 14.
Yeah.
Boom.
That was it.
Boom. Boom.
I mean, and then if you look at the guys, I mean, just eye test. You look at the defensive line from Miami, and they have Bain, and they have a bunch of good football players. And then you look at the guys in Indiana; they look completely different. The Indiana guys, they do not look they don't look the part like Miami.
Part of it's that you have not seen that uniform play good football.
Yeah,
I mean, part of it, you have not seen that helmet play good football.
If you look at that,
it just doesn't look right.
If you watch it and squint your eyes and think it's Alabama, it looks more like Alabama. You go, I think is that Alabama?
Instead of the IU, those are those numbers or those letters.
We'll take a break. Tim Grunhard's with us. We'll talk some NFL football coming up next with Chiefs Hall of Famer Tim Grunhard joins us every Monday here in the program.
The program with Soren Petro.
Dumbass.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen up. We are knee-deep in NFL playoff action. Of course, you're going to hear the next game right here tonight on your home of the NFL playoffs, Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll have the Steelers and the Texans. You can get in on all the action. The place to go is Underdog. Football playoffs are here. The best way to, take that action to another level is with Underdog. You can make entries, win money right now in Missouri. Playing Underdog is super easy. Choose your favorite player and determine whether they'll go higher or lower on sets like touchdowns, rushing yards, receiving yards. They're all there. Receptions, you can do it. Get them right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Look, I told you that the quarterbacks will be running. It is playoff time. They leave nothing to chance. So if you listened, you were on Trevor Lawrence, higher on the rushing yards. You were on Josh Allen, higher on the rushing yards. They both got there. And I'll tell you what, I'm going back to it. 1/2 rushing yard for Aaron Rodgers. At some point, there's going to be a quarterback sneak. They're going to do something. I think Aaron Rodgers rushes for at least a 1/2 yard. I'm going to higher. I love it because that's in play the whole game long. Even if we come down to the very end, how about a quarterback sneak? I could get there on it. I'm going higher on 1/2 rushing yard for Aaron Rodgers, and I am happy to do it. Plus, I think Nico Collins is a star. I think he's underrated. 71.5 seems like a lot on the receiving yards, but I think he has a big day. I'm going higher on that. Fairbairn, 1.5 field goals, kind of higher on that as well. Those are some of the things I like. Just download the app right now. Check it out. Like I said, pick your favorite player, go higher or lower on whatever your favorite stat is with whatever your favorite player is. So do it. Download the app. Use the promo code Soren, by the way. You can score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code Soren, S-O-R-E-N, to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Promo code Soren, S-O-R-E-N. It's an Underdog. Make plays, win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Fellas, the new year is here, and improving your health is probably high on your list. But when you are tired all the time, not sleeping well, struggling in the gym, or dealing with brain fog, staying motivated can feel impossible. Those symptoms may not just be aging. They could be signs of low testosterone. Low T affects more men than you think. Starting in your 30s, testosterone levels decline every year, and it happens so gradually that you may not realize why you don't feel like the same man you once were. Heartland Men's Health specializes in diagnosing and treating low T and has helped many men reclaim their energy, focus, strength, and sex drive. Within weeks, many men feel sharper, stronger, more rested, and more productive. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes lab work, testosterone, and a medical consult with a licensed provider. If you sign up for testosterone treatment the same day, your visit is free. Heartland Men's Health has locations in North Kansas City, Overland Park, and Independence. Call 844-447-6600 or visit them online at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Golf Track's new Liberty location opens January 15th, and memberships are available now. This is a premium golf training facility built for real improvement. Train on TrackMan simulators, dial in putting with PuttView, and work with an in-house PGA professional who provides guided programming, fun competition, and constant improvement. Golf Track.
All right, the LaFeta Delicatessen, end of the hour answer. Twice since 1970, a number one seed was an underdog in the divisional playoff. I asked for either team. Denver poised to be the third. They're currently a 1.5 dog. We'll see how the line moves through the course of the week. I doubt
it's only been twice?
Twice. They'd be the 13th or 14th team to be a home dog in the divisional round, but it would be just the third time that the number one seed in the conference was a dog at home.
Feels like the Chiefs were early in their run. No. What about when they played New England? What about in the AFC Championship? Were they underdog?
No, this is just divisional playoffs.
Okay.
Because that's where
that's where you get a one against a
number of teams in the wild card have, because you get the home team. You don't ever play a team better than you in the.
You can be 8-9 and get
one.
the home game against a 12-win team.
Yeah, but in the division playoffs, it's a little different.
Both NFCs?
Yep. One within the last 10 years, one way back. The one way back you won't get. 71 Vikings had to play, or were a dog to Dallas and lost.
How could Chuck Foreman be an underdog?
There's kind of he wasn't in the league yet.
He wasn't even 71?
He was still in college.
What about
was
73? Was it Fran Tarkenton the quarterback?
He was. He'd come back.
I think Rich Gannon's father-in-law was the fullback.
Might have been.
Yeah.
Might have been.
So it'd be some improbable.
There's a somewhat local.
It was the quarterback bad, and they got the one seat. No, quarterback was good.
No, he was very good. He was
Was
on.
was a Hall of Famer?
No, but
was Dallas the team that was favored?
No. Atlanta.
Well, you
was
finish
favored.
up on that one because I'm trying to get the modern one. I keep asking a
I'm
question.
trying to get the modern one too.
You drag back to the Cowboys and Vikings.
Atlanta was favored on the road. This team went on to win the Super Bowl.
And they were a one.
They were a one seed that were a dog.
To
Maybe
Matt Ryan and the
because
Falcons.
There might have been a problem at the quarterback position.
Oh, so the quarterback
Injury,
was hurt.
maybe.
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. Was it
2017 Eagles? Carson Wentz goes down after 13 weeks.
Okay.
They still get the one seed. Nick Foles comes in, first career playoff start. They were a dog to the Falcons and would eventually win.
Should have probably
In a close
sniffed that
game.
one out. Should have probably sniffed that one out.
That's
the Missouri connection.
They won 15-10.
Well,
a
just
local
that,
connection, and that both quarterbacks eventually played for the Chiefs.
Yeah, Nick Foles. That makes sense. That it would be. I guess they were the one seed because Carson Wentz was looking like he was going to win the MVP.
They were 11-2 and rolling. And then he got hurt, and
wow,
they still were good enough to get the one seed, but Foles was the quarterback, and they did win. They did win it all. One of the crazier postseason stories. Back when it was fun to root for the Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah, but now screw them.
But that was an
Fun to watch them
embarrassment.
lose.
That was an embarrassment what their fans did yesterday.
Oh.
Terrible.
I agree.
I mean, that's an embarrassment.
I agree. I think it's an embarrassment of humanity. Is what I think.
it
Like,
really
how
is.
could you just like? How could you?
It was like what? It was like with guys with their kids.
Can you imagine
know.
throwing something at people you don't like? If
No.
I threw something at you, you better have like
Done something serious.
come after my family or
Yeah.
something. Like I can't even imagine that behavior. And
Adults
and
with kids.
it's the reaction of the fan, the thinking it's funny.
Yeah, and they're flipping
And everything.
people. I mean,
Like,
everybody-
do you see what I just did?
Yeah.
Adults with kids were throwing beers at adults with kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that just adds another layer to it. It's
And then
you
in the,
watch it
in the
and you almost
stands,
can't
I
believe it,
don't know if you saw the one in the stands where they were throwing like all kinds of snowballs and frozen water bottles at people. It's just ridiculous.
It's
Absolutely
ridiculous.
So that was a bad look for the NFL yesterday.
What do you
a
think
little
about
bit embarrassing?
What do you think about your boy Nick Sirianni going after AJ Brown?
Yeah,
I don't even know who to blame there.
I don't either.
I think they're both jackasses. So
absolutely. AJ Brown. I mean, listen,
we're trying to punt. I was trying to get him off the field. I love the guy. That's
Yeah.
what he said afterwards. Is like, no, this is
No, that didn't look like that at all. I don't know. You see those cracks in the foundation when teams start to struggle a little bit, and those big personality players and big personality coaches clash, and so people are going to say, well, what about Travis Kelce and Andy Reid? But AJ Brown, it's just a history. I mean, all year, I mean, he's been complaining he's not getting the ball enough and not enough targets and yada yada, and then it all came to a head yesterday, and he'll be gone. I mean, one of the two are going to be gone. They can't stay together. That's just not a good mix, and it almost felt like that was the end of the end right there for somebody. Whether it's Sirianni, whether he gets fired and leaves, or whether he decides to leave.
He just got a new contract. Like he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, or
unless they fire him and eat a bunch of money, which I don't see coming.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they're not the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean,
who are paying 5 coaches.
Jeez, it's unbelievable. So what is there? 8 jobs open
Or
right
we'll
now?
be paying 5 when they hire the next one. Is that the deal?
No,
Yeah.
I think
they're paying 5 now, so they're going to be paying 6.
Yeah, I like the site that I have to look at the graphic that I had. That they were
Well, that's
paying.
what you get for hiring a coach for 1 year every year.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the Carroll hire was a little weird and different, and probably
I thought it was awful. I thought it was absolutely. It shows an owner and frankly a confidant in Tom Brady that are just flat out lazy.
Yeah, that was a lazy hire. Absolutely lazy.
Like,
hire.
oh, we know this guy.
Pete
He used
Carroll,
to be good.
Yeah, he didn't give a rat's ass. I mean, you watch him on the sidelines. His body
I
language.
don't know how you watch what was going on in Seattle and how they eroded in Seattle and went, no, but he's going to pick it up here. That was not an Andy Reid, like, oh, this year crashed. Like, you saw some of the problems Like with the Eagles, they poured everything. They blew up the cap, went after a bunch of hired guns at the end of Andy Reid's tenure, and then it crashed without a quarterback. In Seattle, he had Russell Wilson all along, got sideways with him. They just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Yep. And to think that was going to turn around.
Here it is. They owe Antonio Pierce $8 million, Josh McDaniels $10 million, John Gruden $10 million, Chip Kelly $6 million, and Pete Carroll $16 million.
Chip Kelly was the coordinator. He wasn't the head coach. Okay. So he was the offensive coordinator.
But they're still fired coaches. Yeah, so four head coaches. They're spending, what's that?
And then they'll be
42 million.
And then they're going to hire another guy they're going to pay.
Is this the new NFL head coach? These big personalities kind of living on the edge. It's not like Landry back in the day wearing a suit and a hat on the sideline or Marty Schottenheimer.
No.
I mean, if you look at
Andy Reid's not. I know Andy Reid's not in the playoffs, but he's not that. Kyle Shanahan's not that.
Like you see Ben Johnson
and Sean McVay's not that.
And I'm a huge
Ben Johnson is.
He's starting to show a little bit of his ass.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm a big fan of his. I mean. That design
of his coaching or of
his coaching, I was of him. But first of all, I was a little bit of a crack.
The press conference, I'm like,
yeah,
okay. The introductory press conference was like, well, I really enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice.
Yeah, but
if you'd said Packers, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But the fact that he made it personal, and I don't know what history's there.
There's got to be something. There was a handshake.
But then the handshake at the end of the game was just classless.
Get the cameras out of the locker room. Why are they allowing these cameras in the locker room? Because the emotions and just you're gonna say something that would offend. I mean, blame.
Yeah, but the Eagles there. So the Eagles put that on their YouTube page. They owned that. They didn't. That wasn't some.
We're talking about Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I mean the Bears. The Bears put that on their web page. They're not.
Oh no, they're not.
It wasn't some intrepid reporter. They went, hey, check this out.
I know.
I was going to try to find this out. I thought they
you get why the organization's doing it because they haven't won squat in 30 years.
And
so
he clearly wants. He said, this is a rivalry. It needs to be a rivalry about the handshake.
And you guys talked about Shanahan, and it was just glancing up, and ESPN's got some of the highlights of the game and some of the stuff that he did with his offensive coordinator to just get the Eagles their heads were spinning. They had no idea what was coming or where it was coming from, and you're exactly right. I saw the same thing. I think it was which Baldinger it was, but I think it was Brian. I think it was Brian. I saw the same thing with you're watching linebackers do the shuffle.
Yeah,
they're doing the two-step back there. I mean, but that's a win. I mean, you're gonna win every time. And and that those young guys, and there's so many smart coaches, but man, get yourself in line and understand what you represent. You're representing the shield, the NFL first, and then it's the team, and then it's yourself, and it's the other way around. It's yourself, and then probably the team, and then the NFL. But I mean, you watch Ben Johnson and that call that he made in the fourth quarter when they threw that ball to Moore, it was wide open. That was an awesome play.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been running that little wide receiver like little flat screen, and he kind of juked it and ran. I mean, they've been saving that play. Such a smart play by a smart coach. And I mean, he could have just walked off into the sunset, getting ready for the next game as the big hero, and then all the attention is taken away from what a great game he called to some of the idiotic things he did after the game. I mean, what are we doing here?
He's trying to make we're trying to make it a rivalry. Well, you just beat them in the playoffs. It's been a rivalry since 1920.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a rivalry since I was a kid in grade school.
George Halas and Curly Lambeau was a rivalry.
You couldn't talk about the Packers in my house. It was like Rudy's dad would say, the only team we watch in this house is Notre Dame. And I think it was a little bit, can we watch Indiana Hoosiers? Now they want to watch Indiana.
Yeah.
But, so I just don't get it. I'm not sure. Is this a new MO? Is this a new thing that some of these younger coaches are trying to get attention from just being so over the top? Are we in this social media world now that their brand is all predicated on how many hits they get and how many things it's just unbelievable.
Why wouldn't you just look at who wins? How do they act?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to suggest that anything like
And
that does anything
it hurts
for your
me
team.
to say that about it because I want to be a fan of his.
Well, I think Sirianni, number one, is kind of like, well, that's how Sirianni did it, so maybe there's a little bit of impersonating him, but I would say look at Sirianni now.
Yeah.
Sirianni was on the brink of getting fired 4 games into last year.
Yes, he was.
Like, and that's where, like, okay, you talk this, then your players start talking it. I mean, let's just watch and see what the sidelines end up being like in Chicago. Let's watch what happens when Caleb Williams has a bad throw or two.
Yeah.
Because I find it hard to believe that you can just shower your opponents with that kind of conversation,
right?
Those kind of statements. I think at some point you turn it on your own in a moment of frustration, and then you start to have a
great point. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's tough to be the authority when you're not authoritative.
Yeah. And I've seen there've been 2 incidences where you've seen on camera a Nick Sirianni player. We all saw Jalen Hurts kind of pushing his hand down when he was talking crap in the Super Bowl the first time they played.
Yeah.
And then there was a game earlier this year, or a few weeks ago, in which they were walking. He was walking up the tunnel and he was yelling at people. And A.J. Brown, he was looking at A.J. Brown going, "Yeah, you know what I mean." Brown's like, "Yeah, I don't want any part of this." He just stopped and went to the other direction. Almost gave him an eye roll.
So when A.J. Brown is the higher standard,
when A.J. Brown's like, "Dude, stop being."
I mean, what are we doing here?
And I love his line. Like, if you're going to do it, do you really think he was telling him to get off the field for the punt? I'll tell you what he was telling him. The same thing I was saying, because I had his useless ass on my fantasy playoff team, and it's catch the ball.
Yeah.
How many times are going to hit you in the hand? You're not going to catch the ball. I mean, I know they weren't easy catches, but if you get your hands on it, catch the ball. We didn't give you this contract to catch the ones that hit you right in the numbers in stride when you're wide open. You got this contract to catch balls in traffic that you can get your hands on.
Yes.
You're not the highest paid receiver to just catch the layups.
Yeah, I saw somewhere, I think it was on ESPN today, that the Eagles set an NFL record for the most drops on third down. Did you guys see that? I guess they keep that stat. I guess they keep every stat, but I think they had like 5 or 6 drops on third down.
Well, the Packers were trying to do that in the second half.
Yeah.
They came up short, but
I mean, I thought that game was over. I mean, I was watching the first half. I mean, the Bears could not stop them. I mean, it was.
It held my interest because I'm like, well, this is about when the Bears get going.
That's what people were saying,
and I'm like, so let's hang on. But I did not think they were going to get going. Here.
The kicker just makes 2 kicks.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was windy, but an extra point from 44.
Right.
That's brutal.
I mean, so what's your opinion of Matt LaFleur today?
Who the Packers have said he's coming back.
Which they should.
Yeah.
I mean, because my opinion, I still think he's one of the better coaches in football.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
who are you going to find is better in the
Well, there's way too many jobs open right now. I mean, who are you going to hire? I know the Packers a big job, so I mean, I'm sure that they would get one of the top candidates if LaFleur was asked to leave. But right now, where there are 8 jobs open, and everybody wants John Harbaugh, which they should. John Harbaugh's a great coach, but not everybody's getting. He can only coach one team.
Yeah,
only one. Right. So, what are you going to do? You going to hire the boob from down in Miami? I mean, he's an offensive coordinator.
I like him as an OC.
Yeah, he's an offensive coordinator.
Not running my team.
I mean, he if I had to watch him wear those, what do they call those pants? The
capri pants.
Capri pants anymore. Yeah. I don't know.
What was that?
It just
somebody had the
why that bothers me. I don't know, but it does.
They had like the before and after. They had him working for the Niners, a picture of him, and then him as the head coach, and it's like the transition to Sonny. What was the name of Pacino's character in Scarface? It's like amazing how South Beach can turn you into, Scarface, and he's gone from just librarian like glasses to now he's got these
horn, cocaine king,
cocaine kingpin, gold rim, like almost like Elvis would have picked him out, in his stints in Vegas at the Las Vegas Hilton, and what he's like, just how his transformation, like what South Beach did to him. And that now he's, just the total transformation.
It will be interesting to see.
Gradually looked a little more forced. Okay, I get you're kind of a quirky dude, but I think
it's cute when you're winning, but when you start losing, it becomes
you're a character when you're winning.
That's right.
You're a D-bag when you're losing. It's like,
that's right.
But I wouldn't mind seeing him coordinate the Chiefs' run game.
Please!
I would agree with
I'm
that.
not against that.
I would agree with that.
Please. Can we get a running game?
We'll talk to Tim Grunhard about the Chiefs' running game next here in the program. Tim Grunhard's with us here on the program. Soren, Petro, Kurtis, Seaboldt, Kyle Collier with you. 2-minute drill coming up in our next hour. Trent Green coming up in the 5. Grunny, how about that running game? I mean, I think the Chiefs are aware that it needs to improve. I'm sure there's going to be an investment in the running back position. But schematically, it doesn't sound like Andy Reid's bringing in, Kurtis mentioned, Mike McDaniel coming in, or doesn't sound like anybody from the McVay, Shanahan side of the tracks is going to be coming in. See, I know a lot of people in the league, Andy said in his presser. It sounds like he's going to be bringing in somebody we know. My assumption is it's going to be Mike Kafka, or it's going to be Doug Peterson, or it's going to be, somebody that's been around Andy before.
An old friend.
Yeah?
An old friend.
And it doesn't mean that an old friend can't come in and help tweak what they're doing.
I do think that there's some position coaches that probably need to go. I know that Connor Embry was let go, and I think Connor is going to be a good coach. I thought he was young. Everything I heard out of there is that it was a tough room to coach, and he started to get taken advantage of a little bit. They weren't particularly listening as much, and that's a tough deal. I mean, I don't care how long or how many years you've coached. If you lose a room, it's so hard to get back, and it feels like he lost that room a little bit, and maybe he just needs a different place to go, whether it's back to college or another NFL team, and kind of start anew. But listen, the Chiefs have invested a ton of money in this offensive line and draft capital. Josh Simmons, a number 1 draft pick, Suamati, a number 2 draft pick, Creed Humphrey, the highest paid center, Trey Smith, one of the highest paid guards,
highest paid guard.
Yeah, so. They've invested, so they have the horses.
Jalen Moore, $15 million a year. If you want to, I mean, Juwan Taylor was a huge cap hit, but if you're looking at Jalen Moore, makes $15 million.
Yeah,
a year.
so I mean, people are saying, "Well, let's see if we can go on." No, the offensive line is set. It has to come down to just what you said is the scheme.
Well, I'll say this at pick 9, if that Miami offensive tackle was there, that's a possibility because Jalen Moore's only got 1 more year on his deal. It's not like you're good, you cannot reach for the 4th best defensive end if the best offensive tackle or second best offensive tackle is sitting there. Hey, you got to get somebody that's absolutely going to play well, and that you plan on signing to another
There's
contract.
A lot of pressure on this pick for Veach. It's a and this is a reset year. Let's just face it. This offseason, there's going to be a reset button pushed. There's going to be some new coaches. There's going to be some new schemes. There's going to be some new blood out there. Probably in spots and in places that we don't talk about, like maybe in player development. Who knows? There's going to be some changes over there, and it really needs to be. But if you just look at, it's not that I'm down on Pacheco. It's just that with those injuries and just the way that he ran the ball early in his career and the way he's running now, just doesn't look the same. He just doesn't look the same, and maybe.
Agreed.
Maybe he needs a couple months off. This will be good for him, and we'll see if he can, kind of get that juice back. Kareem Hunt, we got him off the couch. He's a great third down runner, but, they need to go and find themselves a home run hitter. The Chiefs do not have anybody that scares anybody in the league at the running back position, and that's one of the reasons why some of the stuff on the offense doesn't work, because you're not worried. You're really only worried about 1.5 things. You're not worried about 2. You're not worried about the running game. You're worried about Patrick Mahomes in the passing game. That's it.
The bar was set so low
that
when we saw Brashard Smith merely make a cut and go around someone, we're like, oh my gosh, you can do that?
That's such a great point.
Every team has a guy who can do that except the Chiefs.
I mean, God bless them. And people all over Twitter and everything else saying, look at that run, look at that run. I'm thinking, that's just you just nice little cut for 6 yards. I mean, 99.5% of the running backs that are starting in the league can do that.
That shouldn't be a big deal.
We just don't have that.
Yeah, that should not be a big deal.
So I know there's a lot of people out there saying, hey, listen, let's go out and get Bain if he's there. And there's some knocks on him, but he's a good football player. Although he kind of disappeared a little bit.
Didn't improve his stock in his last game, but there's enough tape.
He didn't really do much. Yeah, but, he's a good football player. If he's there, they're going to have to really look hard at him.
He's got one more shot. He's got another game.
I'm a huge Jeremiah Love fan. It's not because they went to Notre Dame. It's just because I think that I know it was
he's easy to love.
The only other guy that I every year you have your draft crush, and last year was a kid that went to North Dakota State who's playing for Seattle.
Gray Seaboldt.
That's who I want. I want to. And he, by the way, he's playing excellent. He is playing really good. The year before that, it wasn't a Notre Dame guy. It was Joe Alt. I wanted Joe Alt because, we needed a tackle. He was the best tackle coming out, and I knew we weren't going to get him. So it's not just that. Jeremiah Love, he can do everything that this team needs to do. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He's got home run hitting speed. He's got great vision.
He went to Notre Dame.
And he went to Syracuse. So, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, he did not.
Well, if he doesn't get drafted, I heard he
did not.
Yeah. He did,
if he doesn't get drafted.
He doesn't get drafted. He may not get drafted.
He's likely to not. He's more likely to not be there than
I know.
When the Chiefs pick than to not get drafted.
But to your point, if that offensive tackle's there, take him. The wide receiver. I mean, this is a huge pick. And I think you got to take the best player available, which is hard to, quantify. But if it's a tackle, then it's a tackle. Please don't go and get a safety. Don't do that to me. Just go either get a running back, get a defensive ending, get out to the quarterback, or listen, if you want to build that offensive line, help Patrick Mahomes to be Patrick Mahomes. Because the last couple of years, whether it was offensive scheme, whether it was protection, whether it was a lack of a running game, Patrick Mahomes has been having to play hero ball, and I know people are using that term a ton, but it really does fit. I mean, he can't do some of this. He's going to get hurt, and he did.
Here's the thing, though. It's easily people say, well, how do you help your quarterback? You get skill position players around him. One way to help Patrick Mahomes would be to give him the ball at the other team's 35-yard line every once in a while, which if you get a guy like Ruben Bain who can separate the quarterback from the ball, which they cannot seem to do, that helps Mahomes a lot.
They were
40 yards?
I think they were tied for 27th, which also put them 29th in takeaways.
Yeah.
It was like, or maybe even 25th. There was like 4 or 5 of them down there at like.
And that's been a thing.
I think there were only 3 teams, 32, 31, 30. Yeah, there were only 3 teams that had fewer takeaways than the Chiefs.
And I think I saw somewhere they were 21 or 22 in sacks or something.
And that's been as good as Steve Spagnuolo is, that he hasn't had that guy. He has to do so many things to get pressure, but the guys who get pressure, those things don't generally result in fumbles.
No, because the guys that are getting pressure are also
Defensive
the guys
backs.
that are you're putting your other ones.
So you're just trying to get in the guy's face.
You're rolling the dice.
You're trying to force him up in the pocket or force him out of his spot, but you're not hitting him.
No.
You're just moving him off his spot.
Absolutely. And the way these quarterbacks, guys like Herbert and Allen, and they're bigger than those backs.
And they
backs
all
are bouncing off.
They all get rid of the ball so fast. The 5 games over the weekend, there were 11 sacks in the game last night between New England and San Diego. The Pats had 6, Chargers had 5. The other 4 games, there were 9 sacks combined in the other 4 games.
I know
it's hard to sack the quarterback. When the good
quarterbacks are good. They get rid of the ball.
But if you got a guy who can just destroy somebody in front of him,
when did the Chiefs play the Chargers? Was it a couple weeks ago?
It was 3 weeks ago. It was a week going into my.
It was the one that Mahomes got hurt. So
it was basically the same offensive line, right?
For the Chargers,
or
for
the Chargers.
Yes.
I mean, how do we not just destroy Herbert back there? That offensive line is terrible. And I know they have injuries, but is New England that much better up front? I guess. Are they that much better than us up front?
I don't know.
I mean,
Chris Jones is what? I mean, if we're talking about what does money tell us? Money tells us that that's the best player. If Chris Jones, and listen, I'm not trying to pile on Chris Jones, but Chris Jones, I mean, he had 8 sacks this year, and I think he had 2 in the last game. They were kind of.
Well, let's keep in mind they were what 6th in points allowed and 10th in yards allowed. I mean, and that's not the side of the ball where the problems were.
No.
Yeah,
but they could have.
I think it's a testament to what Spagnuolo was able to do.
Oh yeah,
that they could be that good with that little pass rush.
He had the chef's hat on.
Do you think
year.
somebody's going to hire him?
Probably not. I think they should.
Had the one interview, and that was with Borgonzi.
I think they should.
Scheduled.
Yeah.
I mean,
Matt Nagy.
I think he deserves a shot more than a lot of the goobers I see out there that are going to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I when Ben Johnson's there, okay, go get him. That was as good a prospect. And it's like, hey, we don't know. We might have one of the all-time greats, but you know you're going to get a quality.
But he's better than Aaron Glenn,
who has the Andy Reid blueprint in his pocket.
Yep.
And I think, unfortunately, guys like him get like the Raider job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you can get Fernando Mendoza, that's not a bad place. You know, John Harbaugh might be like, well, let me take this guy.
Yeah.
That may be the job that he goes, this is the best one because I like that quarterback.
A little bit different personality than the quarterback he coached the last couple of years.
Yes. Very different. Very different. Tim, good to see you. Up and around.
Yeah.
Don't forget your thing, your gift.
I won't forget my thing.
Your figurine, your action figure. All right, what team has the longest road losing streak in the NFL postseason? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Second half of the program begins right now. We call it the 2-minute drill, talking to the people covering the stories where they're happening. It's brought to you by our friends at Jocelyn's Jewelry. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. No place can you score the best reaction from your significant other like getting a gift from Jocelyn's Jewelry. Almost 1,000 engagement rings to choose from if it's that time to buy. Plus the most knowledgeable, friendly staff you're going to find anywhere else. They're right there at the southeast corner of 95th and Antioch. It's Jocelyn's Jewelry. Find them online at jocelynsjewelry.com. Let's get things started. In Chicago, Illinois, Mark Carman, CHGO Sports is there. Mark, how are you, sir?
Soren, I am fantastic. I don't think I've gotten to lead off the drill in maybe forever. It's a big-time honor. I appreciate it.
Well, and we appreciate you doing it. You do it so well. And where is the popularity of one Ben Johnson now with Caleb Williams now after that comeback?
So I wouldn't put it quite at Michael Jordan, Mike Ditka, Super Bowl Bear levels, but he's creeping on it here. Ben is now embracing the rivalry. He's cursing at the Packers. He's got George McCaskey, the team president, or owner rather, who doesn't ever swear. Apparently he's on board with this profanity-laced coach talking about Green Bay in ways that we've never talked about Green Bay. So, yes, and by the way, they won a playoff game for the first time since 2011. People love Ben Johnson.
Yeah. What do we think, I don't know, mid-third quarter? Was some of the aggressiveness blown up on him? Like, how big of an about-face was it? Or were people, with all the comebacks they've had this year, still keeping the faith?
Well, I don't know about. I think that if you pulled the fan base at that point, that probably 4% thought they were going to come back and win the game, maybe even less than that. But as far as his aggressiveness, I think people understood it because the Bears' defense was just that awful that they're not going to stop anybody. He has to go for it. I think that was the more popular take at the time as far as Ben being aggressive offensively. It was more so they just weren't scoring, and then. The run game's gone away, and the defense looked terrible. And are they really going to come back? That was their biggest halftime deficit of the year. And in the history of the Chicago Bears, Soren, the biggest comeback they've ever had in the playoffs was 7 points, and that was in 1963. So it was a big time performance for Ben in a million different ways.
Yeah, it was. I think it's great to see the fans get excited. Great to see the Bears have quality quarterback play. I assume sometime soon he'll throw for 4,000 yards, and they'll become the last franchise to have a 4,000-yard passer, which is amazing that the Bears still don't have that. I think that stat's still correct that's there.
It is.
Where do we sit on them being a dog to the Rams? Pretty tough challenge that's coming up next. They are at home, but they're a 3.5-point dog to the Rams.
Yeah, and they were a 1.5-point dog to the Packers, and Green Bay was the 7th seed. The Bears were the 2 seed. I think, the public still is skeptical of the Bears and the way they win games. And a team that still, listen, they won 5 games last year. They started 0-2. People look at Chicago as sort of this miracle, 7 games now in the last 2 minutes they've won. It just doesn't feel built to last, I think, that's in large part to the betting public. So, here come the Rams and the MVP to be in Matthew Stafford. And, yes, of course I'm going to make them the favorite. But I look at it they were lucky to get past Carolina. So, to me it's a coin flip. This game, just like the last one was. And, the Rams are a slightly heavier favorite than the Packers were, but I would expect the Bears to be right there.
Alex Bregman, 5 for 175 to the Cubs. Kyle Tucker, we've kind of heard, it doesn't look like it seemed all along like he wouldn't be back with the Cubs. But is this the right way for the Cubs to be spending this kind of money for a player that's on the wrong side of 30?
I mean, look, he sounds like, as far as his off-the-field stuff, I think he should be a perfect fit in that clubhouse, and they obviously are in desperate need of his production. But what you just teed up there, look, the Cubs, for whatever reason, they act more like the Royals than they act like the Yankees. No, the Royals don't need to catch any side shade here, but you want to win the World Series? Go pay Kyle Tucker, too. You're the Chicago Cubs. You can afford both, but the luxury tax and everything, they don't want to do it. So I don't mind the Bregman signing. I just wish that they would do more to actually stamp themselves as the big market team that they are.
So you don't think there's whether it's Kyle Tucker or anybody else, there's still some other notable arms out there? You don't see anything else coming to the Cubs?
No, and I think they might trade Nico Horner because he's a free agent at the end of the year and he's making $12 million, which is obviously not a lot of money in today's baseball. But they don't. They might move Matt Shaw over from third to second and play him there, which that would be completely insane because Nico's a very good player, and you're trying to win. So why would you get rid of bad players to save a little bit of money?
After a hot start that seems like, if I'm not mistaken, was schedule-driven. I don't think the Bulls came out with maybe the toughest lineup, toughest schedule you could master. They have tumbled down the NBA standings. Now sitting at 10th, That's the last spot in the play-in game. Long way to go. A lot of basketball to be played, but is there any reason to think that this team is going to be anything more than just that kind of, commercial filler for the early moments of the playoffs?
The question for the Bulls is how aggressive will they be at the trade deadline trying to obtain assets and trading guys like Kobe White, who's going to be a free agent, trading Vooch, and actually falling way back from the 10 and being a legitimate lottery team. But, this is what the Bulls do. They've been the 9 seed for the last 3 years. They love a good – they love the play-in tournament. And you get a home game at the 9. So it's, you get that extra dollars, and Jerry Reinsdorf is thrilled. So this is right where they've been. It did start out hot, but they found their comfort zone real fast. And we'll see what they do at the deadline here, but that thing is just exhausting. Yeah, that is. I mean, you would think that they would have a little bit more inspiration, put a little bit more into it. But it's not like go after Anthony Davis; it's acquire assets. Yeah, no, draft picks. That's what you want. You need draft picks for Kobe White. You need draft picks for Vooch. You need anybody else you want to punt on. Ayo Dosunmu would be a candidate, I would think, for somebody who wants a good combo guard who can shoot in and play some defense. Get assets for these guys and, tear it down to the studs as much as you can and build it up through there with Josh Giddey and Midas Buzelis. Yeah, I like Buzelis. I mean, I think that's a guy you can kind of build around and do something with. I would think that, that's a pretty good starting point. And they've had other good pieces. They just, I don't know if it's like an inability to build the team, that's their problem, or if it's, I don't understand. I don't understand why it's been this difficult for them, but it has been. We'll see where they go from here. Mark Carman in Chicago. Great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. Have yourself a fantastic week, my friend. You back at you, Soren, anytime.
That's where our man Brian D is, WTMJ in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Brian, how are you, sir?
Hanging right in there. How are you guys?
We're doing well. Tough loss for Packer fans. The Bears continue their ability to come back and pull the upset. I saw a great stat. The Bears, 3 games with the Packers. The Bears have won 2 of them. They've led, but they've had 0 offensive snaps with the lead, 106. The Packers have had with the lead, yet the Bears have won 2 of them. The Packers have said that Matt LaFleur is going to be back. Is that a popular decision amongst the fans?
I think the verbiage around the reporting here, Soren, has been very intentional. I think, the verbiage has been, we are going to work towards a deal with Matt LaFleur. Now, I don't think that necessarily means they're going to come to a deal. I think they're going to talk about a deal because Matt LaFleur has 1 year left on his current contract. So I can see a couple situations shaking out here. The first of which being they agree on some terms to an extension and he's around for the next 3, 4, 5 years. The other more interesting outcome of this could be that the Packers present him with a deal that they know he's not going to take, so he says, to heck with you guys, I'm out of here. Or conversely, they present him with a deal and LaFleur goes, you know what, I can get more money on the open market. I know Adam Schefter is tweeting a lot right now and reporting a lot right now about how John Harbaugh's agent is related to the Harlan family, who is royalty in the state of Wisconsin, and Bob Harlan was the longtime general manager of the Packers, so I don't know if there's any intentionality behind that. That's all a long-winded way to say I don't know that this is a slam dunk that Matt LaFleur is back as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers quite yet. There's some conversations and some negotiation yet to come.
Yeah, okay, all right. Harbaugh being a name that would fit. What does Jordan Love think, and does it matter what Jordan Love thinks?
I don't know at this point if it does. Jordan Love obviously was drafted by this regime, right? So he was drafted by the current general manager and Brian Gutekunst. He was drafted by the current head coach, Matt LaFleur, even when Aaron Rodgers was still in the mix. So I think he has a certain amount of loyalty and respect to this regime. I also think Jordan Love's been, very successful. Like, if you look at that game on Saturday night, one of the last people you're blaming for the loss is Jordan Love. He played great. It was kind of everybody around him, and the special teams and the defense was porous, right? So I think Jordan Love is going to be perfectly content regardless, and I think he'd be happy if Matt LaFleur came back and he could continue the trajectory of his career. I don't know if he has that much say right now. I think the say here is coming from the new president of the Packers, Ed Policy. It's his first big act as president of the Packers organization. It's a big one for him to get right.
Yeah, it is a big one for them to get right. It matters what the quarterback thinks. I think that was obviously part of the problem with John Harbaugh in Baltimore with the way it went down with the Ravens and Lamar Jackson for that part. All right, speaking of how everybody feels, Giannis, we check back in. They're now 11th in the East. Listen, this team is not a legit contender. How does this play out? Do we just start ramping up the trade talk right now? Should they quit fooling around and just move on, or what?
I don't think it goes away. Now, there was that big report last week in The Athletic. I think it was from Sam Amick that got a one-on-one with Giannis. And Giannis, one of the quotes in the article was, I'm here in Milwaukee for the rest of my career. And everybody celebrated. There was a parade down Wisconsin Avenue that I'm looking at right now from our studios. But if you actually read the article, the sentence before that was Giannis saying, today I could like my eggs scrambled, but tomorrow I could like my eggs hard-boiled. So he's definitely leaving the door open for him and his agent to decide he wants to play elsewhere. You're right. This is a team that is not going to contend for an NBA championship this year. I think their goal is to get back into the mix for the play-in and try and get into the postseason proper. But I would not be surprised one bit if the Bucks decide to trade him this offseason or next trade deadline, because they can't let him walk for nothing, right? And they need to either figure out another star to bring in here and retool and make him feel reinvigorated and confident that this team can contend for another championship, or they need to trade him. But Giannis has made it pretty clear he's not going to lose the PR battle. He's going to say all the right things and say, you're not trading me. I would like to be here for my whole career, and make the Bucks organization look like the bad guys.
Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job. All right. Tell me about the Wisconsin Badgers getting a big win over the Michigan Wolverines. What are the Badgers this year? Are they a legit threat, or was this just a Michigan team that took Wisconsin lightly?
Yeah, it's interesting with the Badgers program right now, because for the last 2 years, I mean, for the entirety of my life, I'm almost 34 years old, the Badgers have tried to win games 38-36. You know what I mean? They've played the four corners and taken the air out of the basketball. The last 2 years, they've started to shoot threes, and they've been effective at it, right? And when they hit from three-point range like they did in Ann Arbor on Saturday, they're as dangerous as anybody in the country, and I think their head coach, Greg Gard, deserves a lot of credit for that philosophical change after a century of playing like there were still peach baskets hanging up there. So they're certainly capable of making a run, and Greg Gard is as experienced as anybody when it comes to March. And I think we've talked to him a couple times on our station up here in Milwaukee, and his goal is very much not to get back to the second weekend of the tournament. It's to get to the third weekend of the tournament. They've got the talent to do it on the roster. It comes down to hitting those three-point shots, and if they can do it, they can get hot in March. They're going to be a tournament team for sure, and it becomes a crapshoot at that point. When you have an experienced backcourt like they do and an experienced head coach like they do, you've got as good a chance as anybody.
Yeah. They've got some pieces. They need to put it all together and make a run. All right, the Milwaukee Brewers, are they going to shed even more? They are doing their best impression of the Tampa Bay Rays of being a team that's really good but always turning it over. Are there more trades, more offloading to come for the Brewers this offseason?
I don't think quite yet. I mean, the Brewers organizationally, I think, feel like we're doing things the right way. We're developing from within. We have a potential NL MVP in Jackson Chourio on our roster. We've got a guy that's flirted with NL Cy Youngs and Freddie Peralta in our rotation. And we were the best team in baseball in the regular season last year and got to the NLCS. Now, when you got there, you got hit by the Shohei Ohtani buzzsaw. But I think the Brewers are perfectly content and confident with their roster-building philosophy, building from within and running it back with the guys that they have, even if it means shedding a little bit of salary. And who am I to poke a hole in that strategy when you're coming off a 98-win season? So The Brewers have become very efficient, much like the Tampa Bay Rays once were, at, hey, we're going to do it our way, and we're going to win our way. So I don't know that there's going to be anything drastic for the rest of the offseason here, and I think they'll probably be as competitive as they were last year. I don't know if it's the best record in baseball, but this is their standard operating procedure is we're going to win with our guys. We're going to do it our way. A little bit of early 2000s Moneyball Oakland A's sort of philosophy, and it's been super effective for them.
Yeah, it has. It has. Hopefully they aren't moving Freddie Peralta, aren't moving pieces and go back at it and come back and get all the way into the World Series. Always rooting for the other small market teams out there. Brian D. in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great week, my friend.
You too. Thank you.
In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina.
Talk to Travis Hancock, WFNZ in Charlotte, North Carolina. Travis, how are you, sir?
Hey, man, good. How are you?
Very good. 8-9, but winning the division. I assume that's considered progress, even though it's a losing record for the Carolina Panthers. But then taking the Rams all the way to the wire, giving them everything they want. What is the feeling of what this season was now that it's all said and done?
Disappointed that they were that close to beating the Rams for the second time this year, but I think prideful of how they fought and hopeful for what the future holds. This is just the beginning, we're thinking, of a team that can consistently get back to the postseason. 2 wins 2 years ago, 5 wins last year, 8 wins this year. So they're increasingly getting better. A long way to go. They have a lot of roster building to still do. But I think for the first time in a long time, there's energy, there's hope, and there's a vision maybe for what this team can be. And we couldn't have said that the last few years. Okay, that's interesting. Is Rico Dowdle part of the vision that's there, or is he headed out to free agency? No, I think he's out. He was disgruntled earlier in the year on Twitter. He's a guy that he kind of tells you how he feels. He put up some emojis after a game when he didn't get a lot of carries, and that was sort of like, what's wrong with him? They had to go ask Dave Canales about it. So that was a problem end of November. And yesterday he basically said in the exit meetings, because they did them all yesterday, that he wants to go somewhere and be the man and get the bulk of the carries. He really fell off the last handful of weeks. He was putting up tweets today responding to comments about the offensive line letting them down, but he made it seem like he sort of blamed the coaches for letting them. So he's saying a lot of stuff here. I would be very surprised if Rico Dowdle was back in Charlotte next year. If you want to be the man and get a big contract someplace else, what you should do is light fire to the place you're at right now, because teams go, boy, we just can't wait to get that kind of loose cannon on our squad. So the Panthers drafted Jonathan Brooks in the second round 2 years ago, the running back out of Texas. They traded up for him. He was coming off the ACL injury at Texas, and then he missed most of his rookie year, came back at the end of last year, played like 2 games, got hurt again. So he's still on the roster. He's the great unknown. You traded up for a guy in the second round. We'll see, but he's on the roster. You have to give him some carries at some point. So I think they'll be more content to add some more bodies and use Brooks and have to deal with Dowdle, who wants to be the man. Did Bryce Young do enough to silence all critics? Is everybody comfortable that he is the guy, he's worth the pick? And even as you are now, maybe a year away from when those extensions come down, that he'll be a guy that gets at least some kind of large extension and is the Carolina quarterback here moving forward? Yeah, they'll pick up the 5th-year option. They're not pressed to have to do anything yet, which is good, because the left tackle, Ike Ekwonu, went down the other day with a ruptured patella tendon. We don't know how long that's going to be. So left tackle's now a question. So they're going to have to figure that out. And they don't have to pay Bryce yet. They can add some more weapons and, down the line, figure it out. I think we're trending in the right direction. Is he ever going to play up to being the number 1 overall guy and a franchise changer? I don't think so. But is he good enough to start in this league? And can you win with them as long as everything around you is set? I definitely think he's trending in that direction. We thought he was going to be gone and a complete bust about a year and a half ago. We can have this conversation about him trending in the right direction. There's major progress with Bryce. Yeah, I hear what you're saying about, okay, not a star, but a good starter. Those usually happen after you've left the place that was waiting on you to be a star.
So could everybody accept just being a good starter? Is there a place to land contract-wise? But you're right with the fifth-year option, but eventually you got to pay him. I mean, do you see that, or they just go, nah, we can find this, wherever?
It depends on how it goes. Next year they play a first-place schedule, and it's pretty brutal. But, again, you never know a year out. But it's going to be harder next year. But I think if he continues to play like he did yesterday, that was a big one on Saturday, because, that was a narrative-defining game of what direction he may go in. Is he going to be one of those games when he throws for 78 yards and looks terrible, or is he going to go out there and compete with Matthew Stafford opposite side? And he did that. He badly competed. So, like, on our show today, in terms of, like, what the fans are thinking about Bryce, we had so much to talk about from the game. We were about an hour and a half in before we even really talked about Bryce. And if he would have played bad, he would have been there's a lot of detractors of Bryce, like, in the fan base, as you can imagine. So there would have been, if he would have played bad, he would have been the marquee story, the headline. And today he wasn't, which shows me that he's playing better football. And at least people now, I think, are accepting that, hey, he's not perfect, but he's good enough. He's rather clutch in the moments. He has a lot of game-winning drives. And I think, this fan base won a lot of games with Jake Delhomme. I know that he wasn't the first overall pick, but they won a lot of games with Jake Delhomme. He became a fan favorite. And he didn't exactly, always play perfect football, but he became beloved because they won a lot of games with him at the quarterback spot. So as long as they get to the playoffs and they win some football games, I think that Bryce will be the guy. He'll be at least the Panthers guy for a while.
Usually it's on to college basketball here, but let's make a pit stop here on the NBA with the Charlotte Hornets. What are they? I mean, I know they're on the outside looking in, so it's pretty easy to say they're the same old in the sense that they're sitting in the 12th spot, 14-25. They're only 4 games behind the Bulls, who, we just heard from Chicago and Mark Harmon that they'll be looking to acquire assets. The Atlanta Hawks are the 9 seed. They've already traded Trae Young and appear to be looking towards the future. The Bucks may be looking at moving Giannis. They're the team that's sitting at 11. Like, what are the Hornets right now, and what should they do when you consider that there might be some opportunities around them?
Yeah, they're definitely better offensively when Con Knipple, Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball play together. That trio is the number 1 offensive trio in the league per 100 possessions. So offensively, they have nights like where they beat Utah by 55 the other night, where they're just a juggernaut. But an example of how up and down they are is last week. So last Monday, they go to OKC. They win on the road there by 27, and they completely annihilate the defending champions. Then last Wednesday, they lose at the buzzer to the Raptors, who are pretty good, by the way, but still, they lost the next game. And then the very next night, they lost to the Pacers for the second time this year. The Pacers, the worst team in basketball. So last Monday, they beat the best team. Last Thursday, they got beat by the worst team. So any given night, then they go beat Utah by 55, where they're up by 60. So every single night's an adventure. They can beat the best teams. They can lose to the bad teams, which, it's progress in a certain way that they're at least competitive. They have not been overly competitive the last couple of years, but now they're inconsistent, but competitive nonetheless. How about this? The last 3 seasons, the Hornets are 0-9 when facing the team that is currently the worst team in the East. They have lost to the worst team in the East 9 times in 3 years. It's 12 if you count the worst teams in the West. So whatever reason, they play down to their opponents. They can beat the good teams. I mean, I guess it makes it kind of entertaining in a way because you never know night in, night out. But you're right. You gave the numbers on the standings of the play-in in the East. They could roll their way into that, or they could roll all the way backwards, and we have no idea what direction they're going in right now.
We sit here almost halfway through January. The Duke Blue Devils have lost only 1 game. They have one of the leading candidates for Player of the Year award, and they're 6th in the rankings. I mean, that speaks to maybe the depth that's up at the top, or is there something not quite right with this Duke team? What's not to like, and why aren't they ranked higher?
Something's not right now. Look, they rolled through a pretty ridiculous non-conference schedule. Only lost 1 game to Texas Tech in a game which they led by 17. They beat Arkansas. They won at Michigan State. They beat Florida. I mean, it goes on and on. They won a lot of games in the preseason. So that's going to be tough. Then they got to the ACC. They went on Christmas break, and their defense, for some reason, never came back from the holidays. They struggled against Georgia Tech. They struggled against Florida State, albeit they won. And then they beat SMU at home, who's really good, but their best player, an All-American candidate, didn't play in the game. He had the flu. So they've won 4 in a row in the ACC. But every game has been a battle, which is weird. So the non-conference they rolled, they got to the conference, and they played some lesser teams than the non-conference opponents. And yet they're struggling. It's weird. I think they're good. They're not great. I don't think this. I don't know. I don't really think this is a Final Four team, but not like last year. But they're winning. But it's been a little bit kind of nerve-wracking of how they're doing. ACC's also gotten a little better here and a little deeper, so they're not going to have that record last year where they only lost 1 game in the conference. They're going to lose some more here probably pretty soon.
It's funny you mentioned Duke beating teams like Michigan State and SMU. Those are the 2 teams that North Carolina has lost to. They're still in the top 25. I think about number 14 in the country. How good are the Tar Heels?
They're good, but they have their own questions too. Their 2 bigs, Wilson and Bisar, are dominant, but they have Seth Trimble, an experienced guard, but they don't really get a lot from the perimeter. They almost lost to Wake Forest the other day during all the football chaos. They almost lost at home to Wake. They won by 3. So I think they're probably a lot like Duke. You could see them, because of the bigs that they have, like being pretty hard out in the tournament. But you could also see them shooting poorly and going out, in a 3 as a 3 seed in the second round. I don't know. They don't feel like they're a Final Four team either. Much better than they have been, I think, but because Caleb Wilson's an NBA lottery pick. But I think they're kind of like Duke. I don't really think either one is Final Four. They're really good. I just think both are probably going to fall short of a Final Four this year.
Yeah, they've got a freshman that's 19-11, and nobody knows who he is, and Caleb Wilson, because Cam Boozer sucks up all the oxygen 8-9 miles away over there in Durham. So, it'll be interesting when they start playing head-to-head. Looking forward to it for sure. Yep. Great stuff, as always. We always appreciate the time. Travis Hancock in Charlotte. Have yourself a great week, my friend.
All right, you too. Appreciate you guys.
All right, the La Feta Delicatessen end of the hour answer. What team has the longest road streak in the NFL postseason ever? It is an active streak.
Longest
but it is
road
also
streak?
the longest
Road
losing streak
streak.
in the NFL playoffs. The number is 12. The Buffalo Bills were looking at their 9th consecutive road loss, which would have put them in a sole possession of second place. But they got the win, so...
Well, it's got to be somebody who's kind of sucks in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who probably doesn't, I don't know, Browns.
They're the NFC's version of the
Lions.
Browns. The Lions.
Nailed it.
The Lions have lost 12 straight. Their last postseason.
Those are the old Lions.
Yes. Their last postseason win on the road.
Jeff Chadilla coming down here to,
Their last postseason win on the road, 1957 at San Francisco. They have lost again 12 in a row since then with these quarterbacks: Greg Landry, Eric Hipple, Gary Danielson, Eric Kramer, Dave Craig, Scott Mitchell, Gus Frerotte, Matthew Stafford. He's lost 3, and now Jared Goff. Mitchell also lost. He lost 2. That's a lot of losses.
Yeah.
1957. Bills
they just don't get in that often.
No,
that's their
true.
problem.
That's true. Bills had not won a road game since the AFC Championship in 1992, before yesterday, and I posted a picture a photograph that was taken 3 days after that win. It was a picture of George H.W. Bush shaking Bill Clinton's hand at the inauguration, his first inauguration. That happened 3 days after the last Bills road win before yesterday.
I forgot, what was your first question?
First question was the one seeds losing as an underdog in the divisional playoffs.
What was the answer?
Eagles and 17 Eagles and 71 Vikings.
Yes.
Got another fun one from yesterday for our 5 o'clock question.
Who do we kind of did a little bit of this, just a touch of it earlier when Jim called right out of the gates.
As if he
was wondering who to
listening.
root for the Bills and Broncos.
Yeah.
Right, as a Chiefs fan. And we were talking about this. This is a difficult playoffs. We got a needle to thread here.
For sure.
Because as I look at it, there's a reason to not want almost every one of these teams to win.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, like, when it comes to not just Bills, Broncos, I will give you who to root for to win it all on what benefits Kansas City.
Yes.
Which is largely what benefits the Chiefs, but it's more about Kansas City.
Yeah. Our feelings for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and just our city.
Yeah.
Which a lot of it, is, as we know, our self-esteem is based upon the team we root for.
Very much so.
Like, I'll give you some examples. Like, do we really want the Chargers to win the championship?
No.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if the Chargers won the championship. I'm just telling you, like, when the playoffs started. I know they're out now. That's not going to happen. So we don't have to worry. The Chargers will not be a Super Bowl team. They've never been to a Super Bowl. We will continue to have that on both Charger fans.
Yes.
Okay, there's only 2.
Yep.
One of which is the significant other of Steve Cofield in Las Vegas.
Right. And the other one is...
That's a Jets and Chargers marriage?
That is a well...
Isn't that wild?
Modern day living together, not marriage, but yeah.
The other is our friend
Those are
Pete
the
Fox.
SO, the significant other.
Yes. The other is our friend Pete Fox.
Pete Fox is a Charger fan?
I think he's just an LA guy.
Pete Fox is in LA. He's not a fan.
Yeah, he's probably not.
Not a fan.
But I think he would like it. He'd like to cover a Super Bowl with the Chargers.
Maybe. But the figures he'd be a Charger and Clipper fan.
Wow.
An Angel, I'm sure.
It's like
as far as we're doing that.
It's like being a Mets and Jets
Ducks
fan.
too. While you're at it, I don't know. I assume the Kings are the.
I mean, like being a Mets and Jets fan.
The better, the bigger fan base there. I don't know. But no, the Chargers. It wouldn't have been the worst because they really can't do anything. And actually, if the Chargers had won, then the AFC West would become just the second division where all members of the division have won a Super Bowl. Right now, there's only one, the NFC East, where all 4 teams have won a Super Bowl. But the Chargers didn't win, so that's good. We'll always have that on the Chargers.
Yeah,
they ain't never been to a Super Bowl.
It's easy to clap back. Win a Super Bowl.
Bills are a tougher team. We talked about this with the Bills and Broncos. Like, I definitely don't want the Broncos winning. 1, because it's the Broncos, and 2, they'd have 4 championships if they would win the Super Bowl, and that would equal them with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Right now, the Chiefs, Packers, and Giants are in a 3-way tie for 5th in most Super Bowls won.
Yeah.
So we don't need company there. So
And
we cannot root for the Broncos. That right there is a reason to root for the Bills. We also like Josh Allen.
Yeah.
It is nice to not have the Bills having won one. They've been there. But haven't won it. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. And their fans are insufferable enough. The Bronco fans are just on their. I'm seeing little clips and stuff and graphics of the Broncos and Bo Nix are standing atop the AFC West, the new kings of the AFC. I'm like, win a postseason game first and then talk to me.
Yeah, the Bills, I mean, to me, I like the fan base. I like that they're small market. I like that they go all out for their team. I like Josh Allen. If they don't win, it'll be great to still have them not be in the club. I like that. I don't know that I want the club to include all 32 teams with having won a Super Bowl. But, faced with Bills-Broncos, I'll definitely take the Bills winning that one. And I won't mind if Josh Allen and my buddy Sal Capaccio, who does the sidelines for the Bills, ends up winning a championship.
And here's why I'm good with the Bills. One, there's two things that kind of both equal the Chiefs. The Chiefs have beaten them every time. They're not like a team that has a win on you, and you.
That's where I was going.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were.
That's where I was going. Is that success by the Bills to me adds to the Chiefs?
Yes.
Aura. Yep. If the Bills win a championship, then the 13-second win and all the playoff wins over Josh Allen are validated even more.
They beat a Super Bowl winning quarterback 4 times.
Yeah, it'll be after the fact, but the fact that if they go on to win a Super Bowl, then it kind of means that all those wins against the Josh Allen, McDermott Bills, it's the fact that it's the same coach and quarterback, you are beating a Super Bowl caliber team. Mm-hmm. Like when you talk about Chiefs championships, somebody remember on the way they beat the Bills. Like if the Bills never go to a Super Bowl with Josh Allen, they're going to be like a footnote. Like people are not going to remember.
Right.
We will. But outside of here, people won't remember that they were that kind of team. So it validates.
I hadn't thought about that before we began this discussion about that. That does actually add some glisten to those wins.
It validates what the Chiefs have done. The Texans, it's okay to root for the Texans.
Yeah.
They've done nothing. They are a footnote. Okay.
For 23 years.
They are Central Florida of the NFL.
Yeah.
When it comes to Central Florida's relevance to the Big 12. That is Houston Texans to the NFL. Yeah. So go ahead and win it. The Texans win it.
Haven't played in an AFC championship game yet.
No, fine. I don't care if they win it. Pittsburgh Steelers cannot have the Steelers win it. They've got 6 championships. That's 2 more than the Chiefs. We don't need that getting to 7.
Yeah.
Root against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love Mike Tomlin.
Might be able to catch them in a couple of years.
I love, yeah. I mean, I can see a path that at the end of Patrick Mahomes' career. The Chiefs have 7 and Steelers have 6, and the Chiefs are the all-time Super Bowl record holder. I can see that.
Yeah.
Right? Not that Mahomes would have 7, that the Chiefs would have 7. I can see 3 more. We're halfway through his career, 3 more. You can get. We don't need Pittsburgh getting to 7 or 8 though. Okay? So root against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
A lot of Aaron Rodgers haters out there too.
And
sure. Aaron Rodgers, an insufferable ass. As much as I like Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Jaguars, go ahead. Again, if you lose, I'm glad you're not in the club. Our club remains exclusive of the teams that have won it. So Jags, Texans, don't care if you win because you're no threat to get to the hierarchy of Super Bowl champions. But I don't mind if you lose either because then you're not part of our exclusive club.
Yeah.
So, and if you lose before the Super Bowl, you're not even in the been to a Super Bowl club. So Texans and Jags, same thing. If they win, it's fine. Pats, oh, God, no.
No.
Oh, God, no. The Pats cannot win.
Especially with a second-year quarterback.
Second-year quarterback, a great coach.
We have to deal with this again.
It already looks like it's going to suck. It looks like it's 10 years of having to have the older quarterback battle the younger, deeper roster for at least the next 5 years. Like, we do not need them getting a 7th Super Bowl right now. No. Absolutely not for the Patriots. Already covered the Broncos. No. Cannot have them pulling even with 4 championships.
A lot of Sean Payton haters out there as well.
Yeah.
Sean Payton's kind of an ass, too. Yeah, he's in the Ben Davis kind of approach to things. Packers. I know they're out, but, don't need the Packers getting to 5, so it's okay that the Bears knocked them out. That would take them to 5 Super Bowl championships. We know they've got, 2 others? Or, well, they got many others from the Lambeau days, but So they've got many NFL titles, but in Super Bowls, we don't need them getting 5. So it's okay that the Packers lost to the Bears. Niners, again, no. They have 5.
Yeah.
We don't need them getting to 6. It's fine that they won now, but they need to lose. Get them out.
Yes.
Rams, on the big
Although
picture.
if they win, there's a little bit of that Buffalo thing. If they win that Super Bowl, there is one thing that would help. It would
validate the Chiefs' 2 Super Bowl wins over the Niners.
You beat a Super
Fact.
Bowl winning head
Fact.
coach twice and a Super Bowl winning
Yes.
quarterback once.
Yes.
That's the only plus, though.
Rams have, 2 championships. So this would just be their 3rd. I'm not really hype on them getting to within 1 of the Chiefs. But the real pisser is they would then have 2 championships and a Super Bowl loss. They'd be 2-1 to the Chiefs, 3-2. They wouldn't be that far away from being able to get their name.
Yeah.
You'll be like, no, this is our dynasty.
Yeah.
We're the team
They
now.
win their 3rd without a loss. They have the better winning percentage.
No, they haven't lost in the Super Bowl. They lost to the Patriots.
But if they give one more and they're 3-1, they're
Yeah.
better than 3-2 because they don't have any. People
Yeah,
would
so
say that.
So I don't really want the Rams. It's not the end of the world if the Rams win it, but I'm not.
Yeah.
No. Panthers, see Jags, and see Texans. Fine. Would have been great. Go on. Wasn't going to happen. We know it.
Plus Eric Eager.
And Eric Eager, our
Eric gets a
buddy,
ring.
would get a ring. That would be great. I'm sure he'd let us borrow it for.
Oh, yeah.
Curtis and Kyle could use it on dates.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he'd mail it over and they could
that's
wear it
not gonna
around
help.
on dates and things. That'd be great.
I know a guy that works for the Panthers.
No, you just
That would
wear it,
not
act
work.
like it's you. You just
Oh.
roll into a bar and act like,
Oh, yeah.
my God,
I was a
it's my Super
consultant.
Bowl ring.
That was
You
a
know?
consultant.
Yeah, whatever.
Assistant consultant.
They're not gonna win it.
No.
So it's fine. So you're out of the club. You're still not in our very exclusive club of having gone to and having won the Super Bowl. So the Panthers don't get out of there. Hell no on the Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean that was that was everything I've told you up until now. More important than all of that combined was the Eagles not winning it this year.
No repeat.
Back to back, right after the Chiefs being able to add the back to back. Can't have that.
Nope.
It would be their Super Bowl, 3rd Super Bowl since 2017. They would be able to lay claim to, we're just as dynastic as the Kansas City Chiefs are. We've, in fact, done it with multiple quarterbacks and multiple coaches. So, no, the most important thing has already happened.
Yes. Easily
That
the
was
best thing that happened over this weekend was that
and
game.
nobody wants to see that insufferable ass Nick Sirianni with another Super Bowl.
No.
So the most important thing that needed to happen in this playoffs has already happened. So that's good.
Yes.
Like however much you might throw up at the end result of one of these teams winning a championship, it's less than half of the amount of puke that you would puke if the Eagles won this. So, and that's that could damage a Super Bowl party if you're not willing to eat it all because you know you're about to puke.
Yeah.
And you just don't barrel into, a big old spread from Hen House or something like that, and because you don't, you're like, fine. Now that has been averted because the Eagles were the most important part of the equation. Bears. The Bears have won Super Bowl championship. They are an iconic team.
I was in high school when it happened.
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing if the Bears won, but I don't need to hear Caleb Williams is just as good as Patrick Mahomes or is better than Patrick Mahomes. And after his one big, impressive throw, and it was a hell of a throw, I'm already hearing a little too much like, no other quarterback could do that. I've said from the beginning, Caleb Williams has more arm talent than anybody out there. And to the credit of, I know one of them was Jeff Schwartz, not Mitchell, was like, I guess we just buried Patrick Mahomes. I saw his response to somebody had put that out there.
That was Benjamin Solak of ESPN.
Yeah.
He was pushing that train yesterday.
Yeah, and Jeff Schwartz was like, I guess we just buried Patrick Mahomes. So
I know he's hurt, but he still played.
I don't need the Bears really to go any further. I mean, if they beat the Rams, that's good because the Rams are closer overall to the Chiefs as far as franchise accolades. But I don't know that I want to deal with a bunch of, we just got good for the first time in 40 years, Bears fans chirping about how they have the best quarterback. That might be about as bad as watching Nick Sirianni parade up and down the sidelines.
Yeah.
I'm not
Ben
sure.
Johnson's antics.
That's Ben Johnson's
Blank the Rams,
trending towards jackass stature himself.
Blank everybody.
But one of them's going to get to the conference championship game.
Yep.
Right? And so I'm going to feel a little nauseous when we get to conference championship
Maybe
game.
we wait for the Bears to win one when they become the Indiana Bears.
That might be better.
True.
Like it all starts over, right? That's the number one.
The last time they won, the only time they won the Super Bowl, they went through the Rams to get it.
They did. They
so
crushed Eric Dickerson.
There were 13 potential Super Bowl rematches when the playoffs began, more than twice of a year ago.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
And then that leaves us the Seattle Seahawks, who have a championship, but are no threat to be a dynasty. It's far enough removed from the Russell Wilson. You know, if they get there, I'm not really worried about what they're going to say about Sam Darnold being up there. If the Seahawks won it, I'd feel it was kind of Ravens-esque, the 2000 Ravens, the 22 Bucks, or the 02 Bucks, you know, with all defense, and, you know, that's okay. Because I don't think Sam Darnold's rattling off 4 titles.
No, everywhere he goes, it's, man, Kevin O'Connell's a great coach, and, man, Mike McDonald's doing great work.
Yeah, I think they're going to lose. Right, because I don't think Darnold's going to be good enough. I think it's going to be Matt Stafford or Caleb Williams continues to play at a high level, you know, or Kyle Shanahan continues to dial it up.
That's the biggest spread of the week so far.
Yeah,
7.5.
I think that's where we're going to be. So to sum up, Seattle can win. That's acceptable. Of what's left, Seattle can win. That's acceptable. We'll tolerate the Rams. We can tolerate the Bears, but we don't love it. We cannot have the Niners. They cannot be doing anything. No. We cannot have the Steelers. That cannot happen. We cannot have the Broncos. That cannot happen. We absolutely cannot have the insufferable New England Patriots. We will tolerate the Bills, maybe even accept the Bills, and we would be fine with the Houston Texans. That's what you got. Seahawks, Bills, Texans are all that's left. One of those 3 needs to win it. Otherwise, it's varying degree of pisserism for the Kansas City Chiefs. You're listening to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Soren, Petro, Kurtis, Seaboldt with you. Kyle Collier running the operation. We got Trent Green coming up after our Need to Know in the 5 o'clock hour. A victorious Trent Green. I'm sure very excited about his Indiana Hoosiers.
Ought to be.
Right? Why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't he be?
Pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fantastic. Do you give Miami any shot in that game?
A little bit, because I think that they do have a couple of guys who I think can be game wreckers on either side. But if they don't, I mean, they have to make some huge plays. You just feel like they, cause I said earlier, Oregon kind of has that ability as well. And they answered and was standing 7-7. Indiana just went, yeah, you're not winning tonight. They just have the ability to just choke teams off and just continue to make big plays when they need to in the offense. And they've beaten everyone. They beat the number 2 team in the country. Maybe they have it in them, but they're going to have to do something really, really special. That line keeps going. That's 8.5 now, and maybe just be a reflection of the money. But
is this Georgia TCU all over again?
Could be.
I mean, there's the overwhelming number of high draft picks, I think,
Yeah.
on Indiana. But, man, as a team, they just dominate people.
It's amazing. The Oregon game changes my perspective. Alabama, whatever, one game. That was supposed to be a close game, and they just blew their doors off.
I know you're an
That was
SEC
really
guy, so you
impressive.
may not be able to get on board with this, but for those of us that are not SEC guys, the fact that either an ACC team, either a Big Ten team will win it for a third year in a row, that'll be a big B in their bonnet.
Yeah.
And if an ACC team wins it, that's great too.
All right, Drake May, the second youngest quarterback to have 250 passing yards and 50 rushing yards in a postseason game. Who was younger? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Fourth quarter of the program begins right now as we finish strong here on a Monday. We've got Monday Night Football coming up tonight. That's right, Monday Night Playoff Football. Texans and Steelers. Kevin Harlan with the call. You'll hear it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB after you hear Hawk Talk. Bill Self, starring Brian Haney.
Should be interesting. Yeah.
Featuring Bill Self. How's that?
I like it.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So a little Hawk Talk and then NFL playoff football right here on your home of the Jayhawks and your home of the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Let's hear a little NFL talk, a little NFL sound. We'll give you the things you need to know from yesterday's playoffs. Let's start with Ben Johnson, the head coach of the Chicago Bears, their improbable comeback win. Kyle Collier had the stat today. The Bears won 2 out of 3 games from the Packers. The Packers had 106 offensive snaps while leading. The Bears had 0. And yet they won 2 of them. Ben Johnson was asked about his team's emotional reaction to the win.
Yeah, there was probably a little bit more noise coming out of their building up north to start the week, which we heard loud and clear, players and coaches alike. So this one meant something to us.
Ooh. So you needed them to say something for it to mean something?
Yeah,
is that what it is?
I think so.
I mean, you just go down that road, and now, like, you'll be reminded of those comments next year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, okay, you made it clear. Like, okay. Ben Johnson was asked today about the very brief handshake he had with Packers head coach Matt LaFleur.
This is a rivalry, and city of Chicago, Green Bay, it needs to be a rivalry.
Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, as we said when Tim was on with us, it has been for 100 years.
See your first point. It already is. It doesn't need you to be an ass.
This is new Red Sox manager. You know, we want the Yankees and Red Sox to be a rivalry. People in this town need to know that's a rivalry.
You know, not done there. He's got more. Ben Johnson said this during his post-game speech in the locker room.
Blank the Packers, blank them.
It's the locker room. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You're all fired up. That's your rival. As we stated, you know, he made sure, like, if Bears fans didn't know and Packers fans didn't know, this is a rivalry.
Yeah.
So he's all fired up. Ben Johnson was asked today about that part of the speech.
Like I said before, there's a rivalry that exists between these two teams, something that I fully recognize and I'm a part of. Yeah, I mean, I don't like that team. So George and I have talked, and we're on the same page.
Is George the owner?
I think that's George McCaskey. He's the chairman and controlling owner of the Bears right now. Virginia's son? Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Is she still with us, or did she?
No, she passed. She
this year?
passed away earlier this year, I think. Yes, in February. Yeah. Oh no, February of what? Yeah, February 2025. I keep forgetting this is 2026 now.
Yeah,
it's the first time I've done that. Yeah, it's just about over a year ago.
I think it should be known that McCaskey, the mother of this owner of the Bears, was a Hallis.
Mm-hmm.
She married a McCaskey.
Yeah.
Hence the name McCaskey,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not familiar with that. So that's where it came. But, okay, so I guess he's playing into what the owner wants. It's a rivalry.
Owner's okay with it.
Okay. You know, I can see where
big old target.
Well, but you get caught up, boy. You know, that's a win. That's a big win. It's a wild card win, and they're kind of acting like it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who feels like a Rams ass kicking is on the way?
Could be.
They're favored, and I think favored for a reason. How about Josh Allen? The Buffalo Bills getting a win. I think a lot of people thought this was going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
And it was. It ended up being a tough game. Josh Allen was asked about scoring on the first play at the goal line.
Yeah, but again, you sit there, you can say, hey, let's take a knee, you lose some yards, and you don't score there, then now you're kicking yourself for not scoring earlier. So, again, we did what we thought was right, and it turned out to be.
people thought, there is a little bit. I do get that the NFL has emerged. It's not just score; it's score on time. By that I don't mean like it could be quick, but it also can be score while burning clock. But the first goal is still to score.
Yeah.
Right? Like the other team still has to go do things.
Yeah.
After you've scored.
And they had some short yardage situations where they really struggled, and on that drive they converted a 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 where it looked like they weren't really sure initially. One official said he didn't get it and somebody else said he did. The idea that if you just take a knee there and burn however many more you can, that you're just going to score from the 2. You've been struggling in short yardage all day. Take the touchdown, man.
Mike Vrabel put a lot of pressure on people when he did that to end the half earlier this year, when he basically just gave away, 1 down at least.
Yeah.
And then ended up needing 4th down to get it done. I mean, he put a lot of pressure. He made it work.
For sure.
But they ended up, it was like a toe tap catch that they got it with. So,
but of Allen's 33 yards rushing, 10 of them came on that play, so he had 10 for 23 on the others. The idea he's just going to plow through automatically whenever he chose to do so.
Do you
Don't want to mess with that, man.
Are you a fan of the 11-yard quarterback sneak?
I freaking love that.
Loved
that
it.
was one of my all-time favorite plays.
If you missed the
That is
first hour,
football.
you can catch it on the podcast at 810WHB.com or on the 810 app. When a caller called in, was like, what's the deal with this? Didn't like it.
Yeah, which we looked up later. It's they removed the restriction from pushing in the 2005 season.
I thought it had been
year.
Just I have an incredible sense of time. I don't know that anybody else really feels time the way I do.
Oh, yeah.
I said it had been about 5 years.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much right. It was, what was the year?
2005.
2005.
It was the
So
year
there was
2005.
a 5 involved.
The thing is
what
we,
I'm getting at here.
We haven't really noticed this until the Eagles started doing the tush push. And
I
that's
said it
when
had been
people
about
go,
5
yeah.
years. It's been
Yeah.
28
years
since they got rid of it.
Yeah.
But I like it.
I think it's fantastic.
I don't dislike the tush push either. I'm fine with the tush push.
Yeah. It's a little like
Don't. We're not debating the tush push.
Oh, I know. It's like from an aesthetic standpoint. I'm like, oh, here comes
Looks
the tush
great.
push. But
Physicality.
if your team was doing
Strength.
it, you'd like it.
Josh Allen and the whole
Yes.
Bills offensive line bulldozing their way forward. Awesome.
God, it was.
It's a physical
if he
game.
had gotten into the end zone on that play, it would have been just amazing.
Go watch Ultimate Frisbee if you don't want physicality. The diving catches are amazing. They spread the field, the way they whip that Frisbee around, it's amazing. They're talented athletes. Speed, agility. The greatest diving catches you will ever see in your life is Ultimate Frisbee. I wish you well in your viewing of Ultimate Frisbee on the Ocho. I want physicality to still be a part of the game somewhere in football.
The same fan base who is in love with Arrowhead forgets that you watched Christian Okoye and for years just 260 pounds, adding pads, just bang, bang, bang. That was fantastic to watch. Why
great.
isn't this great?
Nick Sirianni, I'm thrilled to say, took an L. Sirianni talked about going out early with a loss.
Anytime you lose, anytime you don't perform the way you want to as coaches and players, you're frustrated. And obviously, what I said to the guys is adversity shapes you to who you are, and if you allow it to. And so there's a lot to be thankful for, but you got to use this adversity to shape you, and that's for everybody in that locker room. Myself, the coaches, the players, let the pain shape you to what you want to be. And we'll use this like we used it at the end of 22, 23, because all that was necessary for 24, and we'll see what the future holds.
Seems less shouty there.
Yeah.
A little more reserved.
Didn't want to get in someone's face there?
Guess not. Didn't hear any
mellow a little bit?
Yeah. Losing will do that to you.
It will. It does have a way of doing that. I would agree. Really like it when he loses.
I do too.
Like the even just when he's losing is enough for me at times. Just the looks on the sideline, the facial expressions, they're quite enjoyable.
Yes.
I'll take that.
It was a good Sunday.
Yeah, it was a good Sunday. All right, one more. Kyle Shanahan of the San Francisco 49ers. They get the big win against said Philadelphia Eagles. He was asked when he knew this team was good.
Kind of felt it in OTAs. I remember saying it after week one, just how I thought we had a special group of guys, and I wasn't sure exactly how good we would be, but I knew we had a chance to be with these guys, and they battled throughout the whole year. We've overcome a lot of stuff, and to be able to come down here and get a win in this, our first playoff game, it's all the credit to those guys.
Yeah, and they're banged up and got more banged up. George Kittle, obviously, done. He's not the focal point of their offense like he maybe had been before, but it's just one more player they have to replace.
Yeah.
Amazing effort by them.
Yeah, they did a great job. And he really managed the game really, really well. We mentioned we weren't getting a ton. They were 3 yards a carry, 25 carries for 75 yards total. But kept at it, kept forcing the Philadelphia Eagles to play the run, and ultimately broke them down and found a way to be effective offensively. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan can call a little offense. Guy knows a little something about offense, Trent Green, former Pro Bowl quarterback for your Kansas City Chiefs, turned CBS sports analyst. He joins us next here in the program.